Volunteer Summit. We're super excited to have you guys all here today. So our agenda is going to be, we added in a lot of like kind of extra time. We want to have some conversation this year, give you a chance to get to know each other, get to, share ideas and different things like that. So if you were here last year, we were like do, like right to the end. So hopefully this will give us a little bit more time to just kind of relax and enjoy each other a little bit more. We are having pizza for lunch. I did take care of dietary restrictions. If for some reason you have a dietary restriction and didn't talk to us, let me know. But that should be here soon. So in the meantime, we're going to get started with just a kind of round of introductions. So basically, obviously like mission is super important, right? Like why we're here. So often we just kind of jump into like, oh, let's go do it, right? Let's go here, let's go move the things and do the volunteer jobs. But, just like the riders, you're all here for a purpose too. And maybe it started as you're here to help out because you have a rider or someone that, is involved with the event. But a lot of times it becomes more than that. And your reason for volunteering this year could be different than your reason for volunteering last year. So we're going to go around and just kind of tell us who you are, how long you've been involved with the event, and why you're here. So, whether that be personal or whatever you're comfortable sharing. So in case you don't know me, I'm Alyssa Hancock, Pan Ohio staff. I've been with ACS for going on 14 years. I started back with Relay for Life with Michelle and Lana, who are joining us this year. They were some of my very first volunteers, and they're now joining for Pan Ohio. And I started off because I needed a job after college. And this has just really provided me with so many different opportunities in life through, right out of college and being kind of workaholic mode, right? To then transferring into life with kids and, everything that entails. And I started at ACS with no real big connection to cancer. And then over the years, obviously has just progressed sadly. And so many people near and dear to myself, including one of my very closest friends and mentors and my boss that was my boss here for 7 years, passed away a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So, every day my why changes. So I'm very happy to have all of you guys here. I'm going to introduce the rest of the staff team and then we'll have you guys take it away.
So I'm Leanne Dennison. I've been on staff for going on 3 years now, 2.5, something like that. But I actually joined the Pan Ohio Ride back into 2013. First as a supporter and then as a rider, then as a supporter, then as an executive committee member. And finally they let me go pro and join the staff when I insisted that I could fill the spot. Unfortunately, way too many people that I know have had cancer. One of the first that really impacted me at the beginning of the ride was a friend who thought she had pneumonia, pretty much ignored it because she got pneumonia every winter when the seasons changed. By the time she got it checked out, she was stage 4 breast cancer and only survived another 3 weeks. And that really impacted me. My family, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and extended relatives in their family have had cancer. And so it's just been something very near and dear to my heart. Like I said, I started as a volunteer and rider and then went pro. So, I'm serious when I come here that it's my mission. It's not just a job. I'm really excited this year that my wife and her sister are joining as volunteers.
Welcome.
And this is Bob Duncan. Take it away.
Got my name. So this is year 4 for Bob. My why changes kind of, I don't want to say with the weather, but with the event. So one of the other events I work is Escape from Alcatraz Triathlon. And first year there, I was at the booth by myself, and this woman walks up and she's got like a quad can. She's probably like in her 30s, very thin, probably 5'11", maybe 140 pounds. And as she comes up, I can see that her hair's very thin. And she says, "I want to thank you." I'm like, "Okay." You guys know the work you're doing is really important. I'm like, "Yeah." And she points back there and she goes, "That's my husband and my kids, 2 littles." And she goes, "I got 3 months." That's 1 meter.
All right, we want to start over here? Lena?
So I'm Lana. I have worked with the American Cancer Society for years, and I'm still do Relay for Life, team captain, ELT. But last year, Alyssa invited Michelle and I to do one day at Japan, and honestly, we had so much fun. It was like, yeah, let's do 4 days. Because I believe in the cause. I believe in the American Cancer Society. Family, friends, I lost my dad to cancer. But while I'm full on Relay for Life, it's a lot of work. I get to enjoy this. So even though I'm working at the event, it's a totally different atmosphere. It's a totally different thing where it's like, just give me a duty, great. I can do a duty. I'm not in charge of anything. So it's just a fun way to, help a good cause.
Michelle. I'm Michelle, and I also came through Relay for Life, and my family and I volunteered for 30 years in Relay. And just kind of one year, it became not real fun, but I was also diagnosed with breast cancer almost 5 years ago, and I thought, I have to do this. I can't quit. But then Carrie's husband, Pastor Matt, was our pastor, and I know he went into Penn, Ohio, and so it kind of got me thinking, Alyssa was here, we have to work with Alyssa, she makes it so great. So last year we volunteered, and what really, I think what really affected me was it was the hottest day. It went red real early in the morning, and we were down at Worcester checking riders in, and every one of those riders was so appreciative, thanking us. And it's like, what you went through, and the ones that got sagged in were so bummed, and it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, that was kind of life-changing to me, that this group and there, and just this past October, I was diagnosed with breast cancer again. So it's like, I'm doing 4 days. I am jumping into it. I'm doing good. I feel great, but it's like, I need to do more for kind of mentally for myself. So brought Lanny. So we're here doing a 4 day, and I just can't wait.
I'm Carrie. I started out years and years ago with Relay, also, and participated in it for years, and my kids got me involved in it. I'm not a runner, I'm not a rider, so I had to find another way to participate. So volunteering, I did 1 day volunteer last year. My husband's still riding, he's riding for Penn, Ohio again this year. I did 1 day, and I kept telling him, that's your thing, and somehow I got. I don't know how I got talked into 4 days, but I'm here. Many family members have had cancer. My grandma, my great aunt, I have 2 other great aunts, an uncle, multiple people in the family with breast cancer. I think part of the support that you guys have and the American Cancer Society has is for the research and all of the growth in the thing. I just recently had testing done to see if I had any the genes or whatever, the genetic testing, and I do not. So because I always said I'm going to die 1 day of cancer or dementia just because of what's in my family, and getting the negative results on that it put me, I was like, wow, that gave me huge peace of mind. Like, so it's been good. So yes, I'm here for the 4 days. Thank you.
My name's Chris Winston. In 2022, a friend of mine asked me to go for a little bike ride. And he did it on, I think, July 15th. So he's like, listen, we're going to ride to Cincinnati and leave in 2 weeks. You want to join us? I was like, yeah, I don't think so. In January 23, though, I was at my young brother's funeral. He passed away from cancer. And I signed up then in order to ride, even started in 23. So I was rider in 23, had an absolute blast with it. My wife and saw how much of a good time I had. So at the end of the ride, she said, I want to do that, but I don't want want to do it by myself. I was like, well, that's not a problem. There's like 200 people who need that. So she goes, no. I don't want to do it by myself. Let's buy a tandem. So we figured out how to make that work. And for the last 2 years, we've been the only tandem bicycle in the ride. I know it's happened before, I've been told, but the last 2 years, we've both been tandem riders. But 8 months ago, I left my job in order to find a different way of life, to enjoy every day of life as the it really is. I've seen too many people pass away before reaching retirement, and we figured we didn't want to be one of them. So we intended for me to quit my job, finish off my camper van build, get a remote job so that I can then do a little bit of traveling and a little bit of cycling and just enjoy things. Catch is being out of work for 8 months kind of put a little bit of screws to the budget. So registering as a rider this year wasn't really feasible. So we're not going to leave it behind. So this year we're a 4-day volunteer for Leanne and Alyssa to use us as they see fit, in order to just enjoy it from a different perspective.
So I'm Janet Winston, other half of the tandem crew, and my why is, it's again, very personal. I think everybody has a story. I never met my grandfather because he died of cancer 7 years before I was born. My father had varying types of cancer over 25 years, starting when I was 17, and, eventually passed away from cancer, was one of his caregivers. My mom, lost my mom to lymphoma 7 years after that, so only, that's 7 years ago this year. It's, when I go to the doctor's office and it's like, do you have cancer history? And I check out, it's like every box. I have a sister who had breast cancer, aunts who have breast cancer. So for me, it's very deeply personal. And when we realized that it wasn't going to be feasible to provide, we just knew that we were going to volunteer because this was not something that we wanted to not be a part of. So here we are.
So are you a stoker or the rear admiral?
I am the rear admiral. Yeah, he's calm though, because he's got to tell me when there's a hill, when there's a bump. And sometimes he does.
I'm Karen Robbins, my husband Bob. We started out, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, as SAGs. And in order to preserve the marriage, we changed over to doing water stops. Yeah, navigating and you don't even want to know. But we've had some personal touches with cancer. Lately, we seem to have friends that be passing away on us, and we've had 2 just within the last 6 or 7 months. And it's touched our son. Thankfully, he's okay, as far as we know. And Bob's sister had passed away several years ago for ovarian cancer. So we feel like we're doing something. And it's not so helpless if we do this.
I agree.
Parents got saved.
I'm gonna pass it to her, just let her talk, and then I'll just agree.
I guess I'm the one that always does the talking anyway. I'm Maureen Petrowski, this is my husband Art. I got involved 2 years ago, just with the water stuff, but with the water stuff. A friend of ours is a writer, and if anyone knows Paula, Paula is one of the top fundraisers, and she gets you involved in everything. So we said, why don't you do a water stop? So that's what we did, and we have a therapy dog, so Gia came with us. And I got home that night and said, we're doing 4 days. It's an incredible event. We too, like everyone else, have been affected by far too many people with cancer. My father, our stepmom, and we've been lost a friend in March, and I just found out last week. One of my friends that I've known since I've been here, just was diagnosed with cancer. So it's personal. So we do it 4 days. We did it last year. We're doing it this year. Gina comes with us, so she's our Pan Ohio therapy dog. And she hangs out at the water stops with us. So it is very personal, but it's also a great event and a great glad to be a part of it.
Oh, Hendrick.
Paula Edwards.
Okay, that's my Aunt Libby's partner.
Oh,
Yeah, my
Aunt Libby, yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, yeah, so you know that team, they're always making plans.
And she's pulled my husband in now, yeah.
Okay. And they're doing a fundraiser today.
Yeah, I know, he invited me to that, I'm like, that's other thing.
That's what I told her,
It's like,
I agree.
Hi, I'm Ben. This is my second year. The reason I do this is because of Russ Bendeville. He had a heart attack and then he started to ride a bike. And he got my whole family involved with another ride that unfortunately ended. But the last day of that ride, I saw somebody wearing a Pan Ohio jersey. And I asked them what it was, and that's how I got involved. And it's just been amazing to have another event to raise money for and be a part of, and such a great thing.
happy to have you. I'm Melissa, this is my first year volunteering, I'll be a 4-day volunteer. My Aunt Libby and my husband are riding for the first year. Riding, I think Libby's done it for a lot of years, she rides for my dad who had small cell carcinoma. And yeah, I figured I was gonna go along and be a cheerleader with my cowbells anyway, so I might as well like volunteer and, before my knees gave out, I used to do ultra marathons and also volunteer at the aid station, so I know both sides of it, and so I just figured I would, I'm gonna be there anyways, I might as well volunteer and help some people out along the way, so.
Hi, my name is Sue. I used to ride the MS point. I don't know if I'm you remember that, but, I used to ride that a lot for personal reasons. And, then some health issues came along and I haven't been able to ride like I did. And my son, some of you may know him, Jeff Casacco, he does the SAG or whatever, he rides through and runs through the whole thing. He's volunteered for years for us, and last year I went down to Cincinnati to pick him up. He's out of town. And I went to pick him up down in Cincinnati and I volunteered at the end. I was giving out the medals and it was just so much fun. And it was just, they were thanking me that the pride the riders have. It was just really cool. And so just like, why did you do it? And I thought, okay, this is an opportunity. First of all, my adult son is asking me to do it with him. So I'd be grateful. And I know a lot of people with cancer, so that's, I support all of these different different ways.
Hi, my name is Liz. I am a former Pan Ohio rider. I rode for 5 years, and then for health reasons, I transitioned to volunteering. I have been a 4-day volunteer, I've been a 1-day volunteer, and a 1-day volunteer again this year. My why is because cancer has devastated my family over the years. Both of my parents had cancer, my aunt recently passed of cancer. Cousin had cancer. I went to California for 3 months to be his caretaker. Yeah, I believe very strongly in this cause.
Hi, Denise. These are my sisters. She's a big reason why I'm here for my dad, who I miss. I'm here for my sister too, but I'm here for anybody who needs anything from me. It's my first year. I'm nervous. I'm excited. Thanks for finally inviting me. Well, no. I'm gonna go back. She's invited me and I resisted for personal reasons. I just obviously still very
Thank you. Thank you. Good. Be sure to help. It'll be excited.
We're so happy to have you.
Sorry.
Never apologize.
You're fine.
Wow. Those are a lot of tough ones to follow. That's okay. No, wow. So I've been involved for, well, with all this for several years, and I'm known as Alyssa's dad.
You have no identity of that. You just say it's dad.
And or I'm the one that does the sweep truck, as I've done that for the last couple of years now, but because of all of your experiences is besides all those that affect me, is also because what a great way to spend with my daughter. And you know, life is short. We all have a story. And to be able to do that and spend 18-hour days with her all week.
Yeah.
And
16 now.
And tomorrow is going to be my 5th years with Heinens. And so Monday will be my retirement.
So you don't have to take all the time.
I do thank you. I do not have to take a year or take a week of vacation. Now I can spend as much as I want. So I'm blessed, but life is short, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. And thanks to my oldest daughter.
So, we want to thank our chairs for coming all the way from Columbus and, make sure that they get to introduce themselves and tell you why they're here.
Apologize, I missed some of the why they needed to tell them on the interview and advise later that I missed. My name is Stacy McGrath, and I've been involved with Pan Ohio since 2008. So this will be my 19th year with Pan Ohio. I was 12 years as a writer, and then Daryl and I took over as chairs when Kathleen bought stuff from us. So 7 years as chairs. So my why in 2008 started because I had lost my dad to cancer, and I saw this flyer that someone from the first year of the ride had made a jersey that said biking 300 miles in memory of my mom. I'm like, I was brand new to cycling. I'm like, I need to do that in memory of my dad. So this was going to be this once in a lifetime challenge to myself to go do this really cool epic ride. Once in a lifetime, right? And then as soon as you hit the finish line, you're like, that was amazing. I can't wait to go back. Because it was so healing for me to be around like-minded people that were sharing grief, sharing celebration of people that we were riding in honor of, that were surviving and thriving, sharing our grief for those we had lost. And it was just such a cool way to take a painful experience and do something positive out of it and connect with so many people that it really is the people that bring us back. And I just want to say the volunteers are every bit as much as of the Pan Ohio family as the riders, and almost sometimes more so. Like I love seeing returning riders every year, but even more, I love seeing the returning volunteers every year. So thank you to all of you for giving of your time. Many former riders that come back, I will tell you, volunteering is harder than riding. So the riders have it easy because of all the staff and the volunteer team does. So thank you for stepping up to that and being part of this family.
I'm Daryl, and cancer has been a part of my family, or my mom's side of the family, all along. But I guess my real genuine why is in July of 2017, I was considering doing this ride, but it was too late to sign up for it because I kind of just found out about it. But a mutual friend of ours, Nicola, was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And he also learned about this ride. And he told his doctors, I know I'm not going to make it, but do whatever you do to me to get me through so I can ride this ride in 2018 or 2018. And he rode all 4 days on an e-bike, but he did the ride, and we lost him like 2 months later. But I mean, that's warrior spirit to do it and smile all the way. And then, once he was done, he had done what he needed to do.
There's a great video of him. We'll be happy to find it and share with anyone that wants to see it, where he was interviewed on this ride. And yeah.
So as you can tell, there's a lot of emotion in this room. And, you know, one thing, hopefully, that if you don't already see, that you'll hopefully see by the end of today is Van Ohio really is a family. And it is not just the riders. It extends to the volunteers and to the staff. And it is felt by other people, which is probably why you're all here today. You know, people come to an event of ours, whether it be a social, whether it be one day of a water stop, and they're like, wow, I want to be a part of this, you know? And so that's why we felt it was so important to invest in the volunteers starting, you know, we began last year, because we want you to feel just as valued and important and recognized as our riders are. You know, during event week, it gets crazy, you know, and I've told many of you this many times before. Sometimes you have to stop me and say, like, I need a minute. I can't do that right now, because I'll just be like, let's go, let's go, let's go, you know. But this is an opportunity for us to take a minute before life gets crazy with this event and really just let you know how much we appreciate you and how integral to this Van Ohio family you really are. So thank you for being here. I hope you get a lot out of today. Again, we have worked in some time for just kind of chit chat and catching up and getting to know each other. But I think we can go ahead and start with lunch. It got here a little later than expected. But yeah, we'll get some lunch and then we can continue. Yeah. Awesome. But, oh, that's perfect. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, help yourself. Pizza, chips, and pop. And then just so you all are aware, if you are coming to Hope Lodge with us after this, we are very good to. All right. Yeah, I think we started behind last year, so we're good. We're doing great.
Yeah.
Again, don't hesitate to keep eating, get more pizza till it's gone. Snacks, get up, as Leanne said, bathrooms, feel free, whatever you guys need, take a call, do
Yeah,
what you
so
need
why
to do.
doesn't let you have snacks like this at home? I've been, this is a great opportunity.
I didn't say that.
No. Anybody else?
All right, so we are gonna go ahead and get started with what we're calling a day in the life. So this is gonna be a repeat for some of you. So, you know, if you've seen this over and over again, right, and you know how this goes, feel free. If we miss something, feel free to chime in. We don't want this just to be a lecture, you know, like, let's make it interactive. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. You don't need to save your questions for the end. We're gonna keep this just kind of casual and fun.
Yeah, or share your experience.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's always helpful for others too. So Leanne is gonna kind of kick us off.
I am.
Go ahead.
So every day begins obviously in the morning on campus. I know, what a very good place to start. Our riders start with breakfast, but our volunteers often start with the hydration station, getting it set up for the riders. Riders will leave anywhere between, we try to keep them not leaving before 6 or 6:30, but a lot of them will leave, you know, the minute they can. Most of our meals start at 6.
Yeah.
And so we try and encourage them to at least eat something before they go. So the hydration station gets set up. Bike storage will open first thing in the morning, and riders, depending on who they are, they will come and either get their bike and then go to breakfast, or go to breakfast and then get their bike. And they will leave their luggage usually outside of their dorm at an assigned spot. Sometimes it's a little further or different from where for example, the hotel people will leave it generally at the,
I just want to add, there's a third option on that. The third option is the people that take their bikes to their room because they're not supposed to. And those are the ones that will leave whenever they feel like it. So if you're like that first water stop or whatever, you might get people that are crazy early that we don't even know are out there.
but we try and discourage, we try and discourage that. And the colleges will charge us if we damage the room with the bikes, so that we highly discourage that, but we don't, they're adults, we can't control it. But if you see them wheeling to there, you could go, bike storage is this way.
Children, they don't listen.
If you're working bike storage, basically your job is to kind of look at their number and look at the number on the bike, make sure nobody's upgrading for free during the ride.
And literally, sometimes somebody will have their buddy get their bike for them.
So you got, yeah.
Fascinates that bike, so who you getting it for? Okay,
Yeah,
and then I.
We've never had
Generally,
an
it's for
issue.
the group, I
Yeah.
have to tell anybody, no, you can't do that, get to me back.
yeah. I'm joking. It's a joke, I swear.
Unless they're
JK.
taking off, like,
But-
we're gonna find them, where are they gonna go with it?
Yeah. But you never know, somebody might have a nearly identical bike, so you want to make sure. And then once the last rider has recovered their bike, assuming they are all gone, we close up bike storage. But going back just a little, luggage, they will put it, people who are staying in the dorms will put it outside of their dorm rooms generally, or outside of the dorm itself. Generally, there will be signs for the next night, wherever they're staying at the next college, then meet up with their luggage there. People who are staying in the hotels will bring their luggage back from the hotel on the shuttle and leave it outside the shuttle stop. And then we will have a whole lovely crew of people who will come and load up the luggage. At the same time that our riders are powering up with breakfast and getting ready to hit the road, our first, just before they leave, actually, it's usually what, like 5? Or is it 4:30, Alyssa, that the trucks are leaving with the supplies and dropping them at the water stops?
Yeah, it's like about 5 a.m.
5 a.m., yeah. So pretty much our volunteer days start at 5 a.m. Our riders may start that early.
Just to
And
preface, you all are probably not starting at 5
No.
a.m., so don't stress.
yeah,
If you're a morning person and want to jump on board with us,
Great to
people
start.
who like doing 18-hour days, let us know.
Be honest.
if you signed up for the hydration station, just know that you're, gonna be up early, but you can go to bed early because you've already done your duty, those kinds of things. And then, when the riders all head out, the last, we'll have, the SAG will follow and we'll be along the course with them. And then there's a sweep truck for the riders and a sweep rider who will follow the last rider out. So we keep track of our riders at every point in the day, in some way, shape, or form. First rider into the water stop, last rider out. We make sure no one is left behind.
You got it.
Yeah, Alyssa is going to talk about.
Stuff. So, okay, basically, you're gonna picture Pan Ohio as a big old moving circus, okay? So we are going to, it's like rinse and repeat every day. So you're gonna set everything up at one college, we're gonna take it all down, we're gonna move, and we're gonna do that all again. So you're basically, minus a couple little things, it's just the same thing 4 days in a row for setup and tear down, okay? So, as Leanne mentioned, so if you kind of think of this in terms of like day to day, do we go day to day on our thing at all? No.
No.
So if you think of like Wednesday, right? So Wednesday's the kickoff dinner at John Carroll. So obviously, and it's hard to put this all in writing because you're looking at this multiple different ways. So we're not starting in the morning that day, right? We're starting Wednesday afternoon. So, well, I guess we're starting Wednesday morning. Either way, we're starting Monday. It's fine.
Yeah.
So we get to John Carroll, right? And if you're on the setup crew, or if you've lovely taken off of work at noon on Wednesday, or, Wednesday, we are setting up at John Carroll. And basically, whatever we set up Wednesday is just a repeat of, that'll be used on Thursday as well. Obviously, slightly different because you're doing the kickoff dinner. So there's a couple little tweaks, but pretty much when we get to John Carroll, we're setting up signs, right? So, and we'll go through all these different things, but the yard signs with the H sticks, right? That'll be part of our demonstration later, and maybe relay races if we're feeling frisky. I really want to make it happen, okay?
She really wants that to happen.
Okay, so we're setting up signs, we're setting up the big arch, which Bob's gonna need some extra hands with help this year. We are setting up things like this big backdrop, photo backdrop over there, right? So we are setting up all the different things, putting tablecloths on the tables. Actually, they did that last year for us. Okay, so we're doing all that as riders are coming in from their different locations. So in case you're not aware, we have major markets that these riders are coming up from. So we have a bus that brings riders up from Cincinnati. We have a bus that brings people up from Dayton and a bus that brings up people from Columbus. That's all happening simultaneously while we're setting up at John Carroll. Okay, so it's noon on Wednesday. The buses are loading down through the state. We've got people bringing up trucks from the state with bikes, right? So all that is traveling up here while we're setting up to be ready to welcome them around 4 o'clock is usually when the first 3:30, 4 o'clock when the first buses are arriving. Okay, so just to kind of give you like a idea of where this is kind of all fitting, right? And some of that breakfast and bike storage and camping setup and stuff that Leanne mentioned, that is then happening Thursday morning, right? You're gonna have the people that need to get their bikes out, and that's at John Carroll. We're gonna do that same thing, same process again at Otterbein or Worcester, Otterbein, Wright State. Does that make sense? I know a lot of you have seen this, but some of you haven't, so I'm just trying to kind of make it all make a little more sense, but it really won't until you see it. We can describe it all we want, but like, it's kind of crazy. So now it's Thursday morning, you've got the riders that take off, they're gone. So that's the only morning we have like a regular start, that everyone leaves at the exact same time, okay? So, she mentioned some people will go get their bike from bike storage and then they'll go to breakfast. They're leaving at 6 a.m. On Thursday morning, groups start leaving at 7:30, which has not been officially announced.
It's an hour earlier than usual.
We moved it up an hour because last year was so hot. It was dangerous. Like if you were there, you saw how bad it was.
You heard it in your first.
Yeah.
Yes, that has not been enough.
It's not officially announced yet, but we have gotten, I think, most of the permission to make that happen. And also should help with some traffic flow and different things. But, so we're leaving as a group. All the riders are leaving by 7:30, okay? So the last one's trickling out at 7:37, right? By the time they get across that line. And we literally are like, go time. And it is like all hands on deck cleaning up, right? So we are, taking down the whole check-in station. We didn't even get to that. Where's that? It's okay.
It's later.
It's later. So, we're cleaning up all of that. We're taking down the arts. We're taking down the signs. The trucks are pulling up now. We're loading up luggage, right? So if you've helped with luggage, you want a good workout, do the luggage in the heat. That's fun. And again, we're gonna need lots of hands and help lifting this year. We'll have a little bit less of manpower than we've had in the past. But, so luggage is loading up, riders are gone, right? First water stops are already happening. So some of you in here, might not even be at that start line because you're gonna be at a water stop, okay? So what we try to do, so kind of going off track here, but so basically as 4-day volunteers, and we'll go through the different roles and what those look like next. But we try to make it different every day. So you're not necessarily doing the exact same thing or the same, if you're doing the first water stop of the day one day, hopefully we can have you at the, last water stop of the day. So you get to see different areas. I know there are some certain requests for health reasons and things that we will make sure to take into account. But we do try to mix it up. So again, riders are leaving. We are cleaning up. Yes, question.
I am a planner and I like to know exactly what I'm doing. Okay, it's gonna be happening. So like,
Me, Leanne.
Fly by the seat.
You too. Okay.
Do we, like, will you know ahead of time, like what we'll be doing each of the 4 days or is it just?
Yeah, we will.
Generally.
You'd like to know that earlier than later is what you're
Well,
telling me.
I just like to know, like, approximate, like, not, like,
Like
it's
people
like,
know, I got a water stop on
Yeah.
Thursday.
yeah,
I might have 2 water stops on
yeah,
Thursday.
that's fine.
Yeah, you'll probably know that within like 2 weeks prior, a
There might
week
be a
prior.
day where you arrive back at campus and somebody goes, I need you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
That's good.
awesome.
And then I
I
use the Marine Corps term,
but I
that
feel
called
like-
stepper gumby, which is always flexible.
Yeah, yeah. But I like to have to be the other.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the other packet that we put out with the agenda, there are detailed lists of all the tasks that are assigned to the various roles.
And we'll go through that
We'll
next,
talk
right?
about that separately. It does need a few updates because we're changing a few things this year that we just decided on, that we haven't updated here. But we do want to give you this, and this will be available online. We'll be emailing it to you. You'll be participating in Volunteering 101, so there will be plenty of opportunities for you to go over this again and again and ask questions and really understand your role.
Cool. So yeah, so as we are tearing all the things down as those riders are leaving, luggage is getting loaded up, luggage trucks go directly to the college. You know,
On Bob's part.
I am,
Oh, yeah, you booked
It's all right.
mine already.
Plow right through the water.
no, I'm gonna let Bob take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So, okay, yeah, the luggage, no, I didn't do the luggage. So the luggage is getting loaded and the trucks are going to the college, as are the supply truck with all the signs and the banners and the things. And then everyone will disperse to their roles throughout the day, right? That might be a water stop, that might be someone on a supply truck, that might be whatever it is. Okay, and then we're going to meet at the next college and start it again. Bob?
Okay. What do you want?
I heard about luggage.
Start with water stuff.
Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
How are we getting to the next college? Are we driving ourselves? Like, do we drive our car or is there
Yes.
supposed to be all, okay, so our car goes with us all 4 days?
Correct. So unless we have a separate conversation, so
Unless you want to drive a truck.
I.
Way.
Michelle, drive a truck. Michelle, drive a truck. Or you drive out there, you can drive a truck. I like driving the 26 footer.
I'm like, well, how are we getting there?
Okay.
That's a great question.
That is a great question. So for the majority of you, I would suggest bringing a car for like certain groups, right? So like maybe between the three of you, if you're coming from the same area, you decide on bringing. We'll figure it out.
It's hard because
It's
like,
really tough.
want to look at who you're assigned to water stops with too, if you can go to separate places. I will say too, though, that there will be a reimbursement form, we can reimburse you to your gas.
Oh, I'm not, yeah, no, I wasn't worried about that. I was like, so when you said, "We're going on," I'm like,
You're like, where do I? That's fair.
I would be one left behind, you know, going without me, yeah.
Don't worry, I'll be there.
So,
No one can plug in.
are we hauling our own luggage?
Yeah, so volunteers are most likely gonna wanna keep their luggage with them because oftentimes what'll happen is like you'll go to a water stop and then maybe you have some downtime because you got done early. You wanna go check into your hotel or the dorm and shower, like, so I suggest keeping it on you. It's just gonna make your life easier.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the other thing is, I mean, college campuses can be pretty sprawling. I assume we're gonna get maps.
Yes.
Where precisely.
yes, yes,
And
and
lots of maps.
most of the time, it's a little bit of a walk, but it's not too bad except for John Carroll. The John Carroll
Still a
University
walk.
Hotel is a hike,
Oh,
but,
the hotel.
or I'm sorry, not the hotel, the dorm is a hike, but it's
Not bad.
walkable.
Yeah.
It's not like you're.
It's just being able to find it.
And you will have these in their signs. You'll put the signs out the day before.
Yeah, so you know.
It'll be hard to find that first time when you're putting the signs out.
So Bob, when we get to the college, we unload the luggage, and then what?
So basically, if you're on the luggage detail, initially there's, each college operates a little differently depending on the volunteer group, but there's normally more than one dorm. The trucks will take the luggage to those dorms and we just offload. And then at a minimum, the crew there will sort by room number-ish. So we'll have like
Right.
rider number, you're correct. So they're like riders 1 through 50 will be in this line of stuff. And then 51 to 99 will be in like another row. We try to do it inside unless we're guaranteed of sunny, beautiful, then we can spread out a little bit outside. So it's a little easier. Like at Wright State, we had a really confined area and to set the luggage out. But basically the trucks get unloaded, volunteers line them up so that riders can find them. And there's one school where the volunteer crew has been there for years who put the luggage pretty much in the room or next to the room. So, I
But
think,
you are not expected to do that.
no,
Your volunteers
Keep them
do that.
roughly in number order so the riders can go in and go.
We tell the riders that they're number orders, so.
yeah. And generally speaking, if you've got like 50 riders in a row, they're gonna be able to look at their luggage and go, oh, that was mine. So it doesn't have to be exactly 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because sometimes you get there and your crew is 15 people and it's easy. And then sometimes you get there and your crew is 4 of us. And you're like, oh,
And you have a smiley face luggage.
yes, and in theory, the luggage weighs 50 pounds or less. People do not know what a pound is.
And of course, we tell them 40 pounds or less, assuming they're gonna 50 pounds, and some of them will still go to 60, but that's why we need big, strong recruits.
We do, and, it's a lot of lifting, a lot of twisting, a lot of, yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's really good stuff. I'm gonna miss the actual activity of it.
How can you actually pack 60 pounds of weight right now?
You've got sleep cat machine, dumbbells, like,
I think we got the vital tools.
yeah.
I think they also they're bringing their own, speakers, their own.
Yeah.
compression.
Compression stuff.
Yeah, and they're just dive guns and all the, it's a lot. But we tell people like, we rather have it broken up into two.
It's my little.
You know, we try to limit people to like one bag, but we rather have two lighter bags than, or is it three? I don't know.
It's 2 or 3.
Yeah.
We
Either
either
way.
way off for 2 or 3 bags.
Yeah.
But we do encourage them, if it's gonna be heavy, just divide it into, just bring 2. It's better that there's 2 light bags that we can put together than one really heavy bag that someone's gonna get a hernia over, so.
So that luggage truck, one of those luggage trucks does double duty as soon as it's unloaded, the first one that's unloaded. We turn that driver back to the lunch stop to pick up the bikes from the Pan Ohio Express that people only ride a half day. So as you look at all these tasks, and we'll go through them, I think I always use the analogy of a clock. All the hands are going the same direction. They're on different schedules, but they're all gonna arrive at the same point on that clock at some time. And we're right now where the trucks have made it to the next campus, and it's time to set up the circus again. So, or Daryl called it a carnival, which I really appreciate. I feel like a carny on an event, like totally. So when we arrive on site, this is gonna drive you a little crazy, but that's when we as staff and volunteer leads are gonna just grab bodies and go, I need this, I need that, I need that. And that's the Semper Gummy. You might be doing a myriad of tasks all to get the carnival set up in the new town.
Yep.
Within your sign up, if you've signed up for a specific task, you're gonna be assigned that task. We're talking, when we start grabbing people, it's usually either 40 volunteers, or if you signed up to cheer at the finish line, but hey, the bike storage person has not had dinner, can you run over and sit for a half an hour so they can come and have dinner? Since most of the people have already come in, things like that.
And that's where, when I say sometimes we get so tunnel vision during the event because we're trying to, as you can see, all these different moving parts, right? We're trying to make all of that happen at the same time. And so sometimes we're automatically going to be a staff and a couple of volunteers. We'll be doing these crazy, crazy long days, right? And we just kind of are like focused on like get the task done. And so if ever, you know, you get done with your water stop for the day or your specific task that you signed up for, and I say like, hey, Ben, I need you to, can you please go jump over and help with luggage? And,
Hey, I've been at bike storage for like 2.5 hours out of eating.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you didn't get a break. Absolutely go take a break. But like, stop me because, you know, I also don't know what everyone's always been doing at each moment of every day. And please don't hesitate to speak up. Our goal is not to burn you out. I do not want you to burn out. You know, we want you to have fun. We want this to be enjoyable. So we will do our very best. We always are making sure that everyone has, you know, had lunch, or, you know, we are taking lunch from the lunch stop to different water stops, or if you're at the campus, we're ordering lunch for everybody. Sometimes someone gets missed in a something. Please know it's not intentional. We are not trying to leave anybody out. You will all have my cell phone number at some point. Text me and be like, I need a minute, okay? Like, just get, yeah, just,
Quick thing.
yeah,
We're also trying to have at each campus for the 4-day volunteers, a volunteer room
yeah.
or space that, you know, you can go to that should be stocked with water and snacks and all that. So please go there.
Yeah.
Please take advantage of it.
But
The water stuff for the volunteers.
water stuff for the volunteers, please take care of yourselves in this too. If you are at a post that you can't just leave, like Melissa said, call one of us and we'll send someone out to relieve you. We'll appreciate it if you don't just walk off. Don't leave the bikes unattended.
Right.
But just let us know, like, hey, we haven't had our break yet, and we'll send someone out.
Also, if you signed up to cheer and you're out there cheering and there's other people cheering and you haven't eaten, leave your cheering. You can leave, you know, use your discretion. Like, you know, you're not gonna leave bikes unattended, but you can leave the cheering station and like go get something to eat or drink some water. Or go, whatever, whatever.
Pick every needs.
Right? Okay, so we mentioned, you know, riders are eating breakfast, right? And so this is happening each morning. So riders are eating breakfast and things are set up already mostly from the night before, right? Because now we just maybe have to like re-blow up the art, like turn on the blower and like set up the hydration and water station or hydration and sunscreen for the morning. But otherwise it's mostly set up. So the morning is when we have two different trucks, doing two different trucks, right? So we're still flipping. Yes, yes. So we have our water stop supply trucks that we have two trucks and one of them goes to water stop 1, 3, and 5. And the other one goes to 2, 4, and if there's a 6. So basically they're taking all of these supplies to you. So most of the time, and not always, but if we don't have like a group that signed up to work a water stop, we just maybe have like a couple people that signed up. So for example, Liz and Denise signed up for water stop 1.2, right? Or 1.1, Edgewater or Wallace Lake?
Wallace.
Okay, so they signed up for Wallace Lake, but there's not like a full group of people, right? So chances are we're going to put at least 2 4-day volunteers with them, kind of to head up that water stop. So, but you guys are here, so you actually we're just using you as an example, because you'll know what to do now. But, so, right, for more bodies. But, so they don't have to bring all the stuff with them. You'll see all the stuff in a little bit. But they don't have to like drag that with them in their car. Okay, we have a supply truck that is going to drop everything you need at your stop. And it should be there as you are arriving or right before you arrive or right in that same time frame, okay? It usually is pretty lined up. Every once in a while, we have volunteers get there right before the truck or something, just communicate with, you'll have a whole list of people to communicate with. Let someone know the truck isn't here yet. It's usually like 2 miles out or something. But so that water stop truck is gonna get there. It's gonna drop all the supplies, usually in a pile.
Pile's good.
Like just a pile like this with this stuff over here. And then you're gonna get there and you're gonna set it up. We're gonna go through a demonstration of how to set up a water stop later, so you're gonna know. So if you are at a water stop, basically you're in charge, right? You're here, you're learning, you know firsthand how to do it from today, okay? So, again, there are a couple groups out there that we don't send 4-day volunteers with because they know what they're doing, they've done it before, they're good. But otherwise, you guys are kind of like leaders, okay? So the night before, though, we have to actually make sure those trucks are all ready. So it's great for day 1. We've already packed those here on Monday, Tuesday and stuff and gotten everything organized. But you've got this truck that comes back, so this guy sweeps everything, right? So like at the end of each water stop, we have a sweep truck. My dad drives a sweep truck and he picks up all those supplies that are left from the day, okay? So the tents, the tables, the chairs, he picks all that up. But you get back, that truck gets back to campus and we need to reset everything for the next day, right? So you've got this big old truck filled with it's a disaster when it gets back, let's be real, because we're all just like throwing stuff in there, and moving on to the next one. So we then have to kind of like dissect that and take it apart. So every once in a while, we'll say, hey, any 4-day volunteers with energy left for the day that wants to come help reset trucks, come do so, right? So,
Normally right before or right after dinner.
yeah,
We try to do it before if things are flowing well.
because it's light still.
And
We
if
like
we
to do it
get
in the
like
daytime.
6 people, it's easy work.
Okay, I just want to make sure I got all these points here upon completion of delivery. So yeah, so basically after those supply trucks drop at each water stop, it goes to the college, right? And then basically it's kind of empty of that day's supplies, right? It's got some things on it for the next day, but that's where then we're unloading his truck
So
for the next one.
I'm covering.
You're awesome. Oh, sweet truck, Leanne.
Yes. So, we're gonna call it the cleanup truck just for now because sweep is, something that follows the riders, just for clarity, but there's a cleanup truck. So we have one of those. So we have 2 trucks who go out with supplies. We have a cleanup truck who is going to each stop after the last rider's out. They will load up all the stuff from the stop, and take it back. They will take garbage. They will, they're there to get everything back up. Now, Bob, who is amazing, has figured out a system this year that's going to help us tidy these different trucks up. He's building these little racks. They're really cool. But just trust me, hopefully it's going to save us some time with this. What we're talking about doing this year, because people have noticed the sweep truck garbage adds up. It does. So they go from stop to stop and they pick up, but what we're gonna do is probably swing one of the last supply trucks or the first supply truck that finishes is gonna go to the lunch stop and make sure that they get all of the trash and things from there. And then see how the other stops are doing. So, because last year we had a full truck and there was still stuff to pick up, which was a problem. But so this cleanup truck comes by, supplies dropped off, everybody served, you've done great. Throw it all back together. It goes into this next truck, and this next truck takes it back to the college where we disseminate it back to those supply trucks. Obviously, the trash goes in the trash, but all of the foods and things like that, we're trying to get better about not wasting as much, not giving away as much. So we're trying to keep better track of that and get it into the cleanup truck as neatly as possible so that it doesn't, all the chips don't get crushed and become useless. So that is what that truck does. And again, like Alyssa said, the sweep truck or the cleanup truck will meet up with those supply trucks right after dinner. We'll do a little magic between them because what Carnival doesn't have some magic, right? And we'll get them all restocked for the next day. They do sometimes feel like hunger. Do they not? Have you?
Yeah.
So, do you want to go through
Yeah,
the next one?
yes.
I know you just talked a lot and then my part is so small.
It's like, I just talk a lot, so like, it's fine. So, one other thing to comment on the sweep truck, and I also have to reiterate it to him, cleanup truck, is we don't start cleaning up a water stop until the last rider is to you. There's a difference.
Ryan, tell me.
When I wrote I was the last rider, and the last thing your last rider should have the same feeling running into that stop that the first rider did, that you are waiting and eager to serve them. Because nothing makes you feel worse as the last rider who's been slugging it away and it's taking you twice as long as everyone else. And you pull in and everything is boxed up and they're like, can we throw you something as you head out? So our goal is always to make everyone feel as if they are the first rider in. And then you can go crazy the minute they roll out, you can start chucking stuff in the truck.
There's nothing wrong with like a little pre-cleanup, right? Like, you've got all your stuff, everyone got all their things, maybe you have your volunteers put their personal stuff in their bags or their car, nothing wrong with a pre-cleanup, but your goal is just to make it so that like your granola bars are all still laid out, maybe you only have 3 granola bars out or something, but like, so pre-cleanup, but the idea is that it still feels like a full water stop so that no one comes in and is like, oh man, I'm keeping everyone late, I'm keeping people behind make sense? So, and then the minute they roll away, then just throw it in his car.
They don't watch you like that.
And also, we're giving him a hard time jokingly, like, he does a great job. He's really excited.
He's a little very.
Looks like you get energy from somewhere. This is the Energizer Bunny.
Go on, Gerald. Gerald had his hand up. I just want to say, it's your turn. Have that attitude to have. The last rider to get there knows they're not the first rider.
Right.
Yeah, having been the last rider myself a couple of times, you're not always aware that you are the last rider. There's possibility there's someone behind you. So treat the last rider like they're the second to last rider. It's a joke. I mean, seriously, treat them like that you're still, after they leave, you're still waiting for someone to arrive, and everyone will be happy.
I'm really surprised because nobody, Dave and I are having a conversation.
Like, they don't, that's a really great question. They kind of do, actually. That's not, we have a sweep rider. So Jeff, Sue's son Jeff is our sweep rider. So you'll get to know Jeff because you'll be at a water stop and you'll start to know him. But Usually, so by the time like, he usually gets there with the cleanup truck before that last rider's in, and he's in touch with that last rider. Or the SAG crew who knows where the last rider is. I think you were in touch with Jeff last year directly, right?
Yeah, so if we got better.
He was last year, it was great.
We got better as the years have gone on, because we have had better communication.
Exactly, yeah.
With the last bike rider,
Yeah.
with the.
With Matt Nixon,
You're right.
and he is
So-
going to stop in later today.
So, yes, and I will take full accountability, and I tried to make sure, but customer service oriented, you don't want to make it look like it's like a terrible stop to them, right? So I will be a little bit like, okay, let's get the empty water bottles.
Right.
Let's get the garbage kind of picked up or on the truck or whatever it is, so that, everybody, by the time you're at stop number 5, you're probably out there in 85-degree weather.
All day.
And we all want to get home, but yet you've got riders that we got to be respectful for.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Pretty clean.
pretty clean.
Only one water.
Consolidate, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we got a lot, I mean, last year was much better.
Yeah.
Again, we keep growing. We take all the, survey results into account, make sure that, our goal is to be providing the best experience possible. And I think we've just continued to improve
I have
that.
a thought on that too, that
Yeah.
from this perspective, if you are at one of those later water stops, I think we got in a habit several years ago of every water stop got the same kit of stuff. And we've realized over the last couple of years that it doesn't work. So if you are at one of those later in the day water stops, especially if there's no natural shade or shelter, you will be getting more pop-up tents than the early water stops. So that's another thing that's
Yeah.
gonna be a little different this year, is that not every water stop gets the same kit of stuff. And so if
And-
you do show up at a late water stop where there's no cover and you only have 2 10-foot of snow right away,
And I was
we'll get
also
more out to you.
had a thought based on what he said, just another mindset thing. If that last rider shows up at the last water stop on an 85-degree day, they're gonna be at that last water stop longer than the first rider. So just set expectations. If they need 20 minutes. Now, there is an exception to this that we probably will get into later, but
Yeah.
that last rider might decide they want to SAG. And if they're waiting for SAG to come and pick them up,
Yeah,
then
then you can clean up and,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because they may just be sitting there for 15 minutes waiting for a SAG and they're done and they've already got a water, they're sitting down, you can clean up. But again, just have the communication, you'll all know what's going on. And if you don't hesitate to call or ask somebody. Again, you'll have all that information. At some point, we will be talking about what to pack, but one thing to think about this year is if you are a 4-day volunteer and you are bringing your car, if you're bringing your car, if you have a cooler that you can bring, we did get some extra coolers last year, but we can always use more because basically we drop off the ice, right? We drop off the ice. A couple years ago, we were lucky enough to get the big bags of ice. Last year, they didn't have big bags, so we got the small bags. Those were melting a whole lot faster. We didn't have enough coolers, and as you know, last year was abnormally hot.
If anyone has control of the weather.
Let's get
Give us a hand with that.
Yeah, maybe like 68 and overcast, is that ideal? Right, okay, let's go for that. But yeah.
In the north at 30 miles.
Cool, yeah, so bring cooling towels, and again, when we go through water stop stuff, we will talk through some of the other ways to make your stop better, but actually, I am going to talk about water stops right now, sort of. So one thing that's really cool about Pan Ohio compared to a lot of other cycling events is we are not just a hydration stop. We are not just water and electrolytes. We are a full service water stop, aid station, if you will. So not only do we have water and electrolytes and we have salty snacks, sweet snacks. We have some form of like a protein, whether that be like peanut butter cups or not like Reese's, but like the cups of peanut butter, little packets, the gels, we do have different things available. And then in addition to food, like nutrition, and fruit, we have oranges, bananas, and grapes. In addition to that, we have first aid type supplies. So not only do we have Band-Aids and Neosporin and gauze pads, we also then have Advil and Tylenol and, lots of chamois butter. Sunscreen and Purell wipes and eyeglass cleaner and eye drops and you name it, we have it. Yeah, I mean, our goal is,
Then you're on a ride and you're like, oh crap, that's.
right? You know, we've changed it a little bit over the years, but originally when Penn Ohio started, the goal was you show up as you are. You bring your bike and yourself and you go. And that was kind of the premise when this event first started. So we provide everything that you would need. However, we have tried to kind of back away from that a little bit because
We're not doing.
as you can imagine, it gets to be a lot of stuff. However, we've gotten a little better, like instead of carrying like 15 different kinds of things, maybe we'll carry 2, but, so we do encourage people to bring their own like chamois butters or butt butters if you're not familiar. Like it's basically the anti-chafing cream, right? So we do get a donation or a sponsorship from Chamois Butter, which is like a certain brand. And again, we'll show you all these things. But we always run out. Doesn't matter how much we get. It literally doesn't matter. We always run out. And then guess what? I found like 4 bags of them, at the bottom of other bins that were whatever. So they always want more chamois butter. And when we talk about how to set up water stop, we'll tell you like how to set it out and everything. But so we have a lot of different options. This year we are making a very big change. And I think some of you will be very happy. We are not doing Gatorade in the big jugs. We are going to be only filling the jugs with water, and we are going to have the individual sticks, and we're going to have a myriad of different electrolyte options. We have found that, electrolytes have advanced so much. There's so many different kinds on the market, and people really actually find certain ones that they like. And oftentimes we've seen so many people bringing their own anyway that they're not even using our Gatorade. However, we did, do we know if we're getting Elements donated again this year or not?
So far, they haven't gotten.
Okay, well, either way, if we will be purchasing a couple different kinds of electrolytes. So, because we're not buying the Gatorade, so we're gonna have, so we're giving this a shot. Again, it's just trial and error, but based on last year, how much access we had, how many times you're dumping out these full bins of Gatorade. It just,
And washing stick.
it's just,
So you should have paused for applause.
oh, no way. So we don't have to be mixing, and then if you can't find your Gatorade mixer, because somehow it didn't get into the bucket, you're like trying to figure out how to mix it with a paddle or
When
something,
you try this.
Yeah. Never again. Never again.
One thing, I jump in really quick. The
Yeah.
third thing you left out is we have 2 bike mechanics
Oh, yeah.
that generally leapfrog. So you will probably be at a rest stop that has a bike mechanic unless there's something going on out on the road. So that's another thing that we provide. Nothing you have to worry about. They are totally self-sufficient.
Yeah.
You don't have to bring extra tools or any of that kind of stuff. They will take care of it.
Yeah.
But that will also be something that will be a presence at your stop.
Good call. And they're wonderful too. Chet's good for the
Chet and
two,
Dave.
right? Yeah. Okay, perfect. Chet and Dave, they're incredible humans. You will love them. They're so kind. Yeah, and just as a reminder, I'm sure you all know, but any of our other vendors, our DJs, our, bike mechanics, the tent company, if they're around, obviously you are here representing the American Cancer Society. Offer them, if you're at the lunch stop, offer them some lunch. Make sure they got some water. Keep them hydrated. Just treat them as yet another volunteer that's joining us for the weekend.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Like if you have riders coming through too, a lot of our stops are along bike trails or busy places, and we're gonna have signs this year. A lot of people come on like, oh, what's this? What's going on? So
Pause for applause.
applause. The QR code and the way that like if people express interest. If they want a water bottle refill or something, like happy to support. We always have plenty.
Sell
Yeah.
the event.
Yeah, if they want to just
I don't know, you're not be like, oh, I'm sorry, you're not with our event.
Yeah.
I can't fill your water bottle on this 97-degree day.
I think we've all
Experienced
experienced,
people that come and ask
I think-
what we're doing there.
we have all experienced where a stranger will come up, ask what the event is, we'll explain it, and they'll just hand over some cash.
Right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, you friendly?
Yeah.
Be friendly, and if they want to donate, there'll be a QR code on the sign. that's at the
That-
top.
yeah.
Then you can-
Absolutely.
to
If
make
we
that
can't
easier.
have cash, what do we do with it? So
Bring
you
it to
can
staff.
hang on to it, bring it to staff, whenever, like, don't stress like, oh my gosh, I have cash in my pocket. No one is gonna, just whenever you get a chance, either to myself or Leanne or Bob. There's another guy, Chris, you'll see, he's actually our manager. He'll be around, a guy named Paul. He's real behind the scenes, but he'll be there and you'll be like, what does he do? Just ignore him, he's fine. He's the man behind the computer, I'm Leanne.
I'll say, honestly, the easiest thing, if you don't want to feel uncomfortable about it, when I've been handed cash, is I immediately open the app, which we can tell you what the app is.
Yeah,
I make the donation to the event with my own credit card and then
and
I,
then just pocket the cash. Yep,
Yeah, that's fine too.
you know, you're not worried about who am I gonna see and what,
right.
yeah.
And we're trusting you guys in this. I mean, I don't think anyone's handing over like $5,000 in cash. If they are, great. Accept, but like chances are it'll be like $5, $10, $20
I
and
think our record was 100 on.
fine, they're gonna have 100 in their pocket. Good for them. So, you know, as riders are showing up to your water stop, one thing we do really push is we ask them to remove their water bottle and then we fill remove their lid and we fill their water bottle for them.
And their gloves.
And their gloves.
And their gloves.
Out their gloves on, because if there's one thing that's more disgusting than gloves after someone's been riding, I don't know what it is.
That's fair.
And then they come up into our water bottle, yeah. So we do have signs that our water stops are no
Yeah.
glove zones. Feel free, I want you all to feel empowered to enforce things. The riders coming up, feel free to say, I'm sorry, please take your gloves off and then come back up here and we'll have hand sanitizer and everything too.
And again, I know we don't have to preface this because this is an incredible group, but we just do need to say, please be kind to the riders. Sometimes you get a cantankerous person after riding 85 miles in the hot sun. Andy Jones. Oh, Miss Tim, but he would come up and say, I need water. Okay, you know, and we've had volunteers get, you know, sometimes not know how to handle people that come up frazzled and just do your best to like put yourself in their shoes. They're not being mean on purpose. They might just be being a little pushy. If you have any issue,
Yeah.
please come talk to
Yeah.
someone because it has happened before where a volunteer does either feel uncomfortable, not know how to handle a situation, or be like, have a rider being really, really rude to them. And we don't want that either. Like, yes, we're telling you to also be kind, but like, they should not be being disrespectful.
We
So.
will tell them that.
We support him in the Facebook.
We'll. It's rude to you and inappropriate, you know, thank them, but they're gonna turn around and they're gonna have a number on their back.
Yeah.
Head down and let us know who. If it's over the line, like that's not appropriate, so we have had to have tough conversations with riders. And where it really comes up, especially as, you know, we'll get to this later too, that if we do have thresholds for weather and criteria that might cause us to have to close the course either temporarily or for the day. And that's where riders really get angry because they get stubborn and they want to complete the ride and they want to keep going anyway, even though the course is closed. So we have that to talk about more in detail
Yeah.
later. But if our rider truly is inappropriate or overly rude to you, please stick their number and let us know.
You can even like shoot that in a text, like, hey, rider number 328.
Don't feel you have to
you know.
manage the situation.
Yeah,
Just
and
like
we will
let them
come
walk
here.
away and then be like, hey, rider number 257 was a. Symbols to it. Send me an eggplant emoji, 257 eggplant, send. You will know what it means.
And kind of lastly, I mean, I feel like there's no lastly on any of these categories because there's always things coming up, but once I figure out where you will be and you figure out where you will be, familiarize yourself with your stop. So my goal this year is to, when I send you your location, to also ahead of time send you the maps of your location so that you're able to kind of familiarize yourself with the direction, right? So you know which way riders are coming in, but you also know which way riders are coming out. You know how many miles to the next stop, because they're gonna ask you that. How many more miles till lunch? Or how far to the finish? Like, familiarize yourself with some of that information. This way you're not stressing out or stressing that you gave someone the wrong answer and they're sending them the wrong way. And, you know, we'll find them obviously, but like, you know,
There will be signs as well.
There will be signs, but just to, you know, so you guys are as comfortable with your locations as possible. Make sense? Okay,
And there will be a sign, that every stop gets a sign that says, distance to next stop, distance to finish. So you just need to pay attention. If you're going through your bin, look for it so you can post it, because that's gonna be the easiest thing. People will still ask you because reading is hard, but you can post it for those people. Yeah, don't make me tap the sign. But, we will give you those things as well as tools so that you have multiple ways of getting the information. Some people are visual, they need to see the map ahead of time. Some people are gonna go out to their water stop and look for the signs with the arrows and go, okay, I got it. We're just trying to make sure everybody learns and gets the information in whatever way works for them. And so that you can disseminate it. You're gonna wanna be able to tell them where the portalette is, where they can wash their hands before they touch anything. A lot of times you want to hand them the food so that they're not touching a lot of things. If you notice somebody hasn't like used the hand sanitizer, you might be like, we did that at granola bars. You don't touch 5 of them. Yeah.
Some people drip when they sweat too.
Yeah.
Reaching over the food. That's interesting.
They will be wrapped. The food will be.
Yeah,
Except
except for the fruit,
Except for the fruit, everything will be wrapped, but it's still a little.
Crazy salty.
Okay, time out, Mr. 5 minutes.
Hey, Mr. Luggage,
We really already covered that.
we did that already, but it's on here sort of again, but I guess it's the idea of like the day flow process, right? So now we.
Yeah, this is supposed to be just pickup and this is supposed to be drop off, but that's fine. We'll go to, and we kind of covered site setup, but I'm gonna happy to do that anyway.
Okay, great. Let's go for it.
So site setup, as we said, we will move from the morning, everything was taken down. Going to the next college, we're putting everything back up. That's arches, that's yard signs, thanking all of our lovely sponsors. That's the flags and the banners and all the things to welcome them. We put out pom-poms and bells to ring people in. But we also have a lovely, because you know, you can never eat enough on Pan Ohio. I think that's one of our mottos.
Oh, it is.
You can never eat enough. I've had people tell me they gained weight riding Pan Ohio, which is amazing.
So much good.
I mean, you consider riders are typically burning 4,000 to 6,000 calories a day. And they will say, I gained weight on Pan Ohio. What do you mean I can't have 6 snacks a day between breakfast and dinner? But we will have first. I'm getting your weight. So they get there and they're like, once they get there and they roll through the arch and stuff, we'll have some healthy food for them first. You know, there'll be some recovery stuff. Some people like chocolate milk, which makes me want to.
There's a vegetable. And
There's a.
yeah.
Vegetable, there's a carrot, there's protein drinks, things like that. But there's also happy hour. So they'll come through the arch and they'll go to happy hour and you can go to happy hour. You know, when you're done with your shift.
I'm gonna go in there really fast.
I don't want to.
Our setup, like,
Yeah.
our setup is signage because
Yeah,
riders are in people's areas, they won't know where anything is. So one of the really good volunteer roles, if you're really good, like reading a map and knowing where things are spatially, putting out signs so that people know where we go.
Yeah,
Just riders.
Search this way, check it that
Yeah.
way.
Riders, even though they're normally very smart people, aren't when they're tired and hot.
well, and
They could be like right in front of like the reception and go, where do we go for the happy hour?
or where do we check in? And there's like a person with keys going. Yeah, and I was gonna say something. I won't.
So we were on setup and you.
Set up.
Happy.
One of the things we created last year were these general signs, and this is something that we didn't communicate well enough, and so I'm going to rectify that. There are general signs that say things like dorm, and then there's a big white space. The idea, we have these wonderful arrows that Velcro. So rather than creating signs that were very specific of like this way or that way, we made these signs that said dorms, so you could put the stick in and then put the arrow to whichever direction the dorm is going. The same thing with like bike storage and shuttle service, things like that. So if you see those signs and they have a big white space and there's nothing in them, You need to let someone know, like Alyssa know, because the whole point is to guide them to the dorm.
Okay.
Um,
I don't think we did
yeah,
that.
yeah, there were a lot of signs that just said dorm, and I think they thought that they needed to make like a breadcrumb trail.
I think that's me. I think I did it.
We're supposed to add the arrows, so we have Velcro arrows that'll go there. But yeah, and then the same thing is true of the dorm. We can have dorm signs that say, just the dorm name or dorm luggage, so we need to pay attention to those things. That's part of setup and tear down each day.
Yep.
And you'll find that there are just bags of arrows, so.
But they never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw them. I mean, I know, and we have like old signs that have the arrows, right? And like, I feel like there were just more arrows that appeared, and I knew the signs were happening. And I saw the arrows, and I was like, we have a lot of arrows.
So now you all know the secret. It's not just locked in our brains, you know the secret. So if you see the sign, you're like, it just says dorm, there's no arrow. Or it says shuttle, but the shuttle's way over there. Maybe this sign needs an arrow so that they know to find the shuttle. And we will, as Alyssa said, and I think we've all said it now, there will be maps sent out. We do them with very detailed little draw outs of here's where they're gonna go to eat. And we even include the times. So those are things to keep like handy. Because that's the other thing is a random rider will see your shirt, your volunteer shirt, because you get a different color, and they'll go, dinner, what time is dinner? And you can go, dinner is in the student center down this street, and it's from 4:30 to 6:30 or whatever it is, because we've told you that. And, it doesn't happen a lot. It could just be a random thing. And again, this is for people who are working specifically on campus, but these are the things that we want to make sure that you know, so that you never feel like lost or just as bewildered as they look, going, I don't know. And, check-in is behind me. Check-in is also a really important thing because that's where they get the keys to their rooms. Some of the buildings also have locks on the doors outside as well as inside. So they might come with a key card and a key. So if you're working check-in, that's a very important job. Sometimes when you're working check-in at setup at the campus, you will be giving out a jersey because they've earned it while they've been on the road fundraising. And you see. And that's it. I think that's good because the list is going to talk check-in a little more. Are we going to do our demo?
Yes, but not
Okay.
yet.
No, I know, it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to talk, Alyssa's going to talk just a little bit more about lunch and what the Pan Ohio Express is for those who don't know.
So, okay, one thing real quick, when she was talking about some of these maps and things, I found that it's really helpful, like when we do send out some of these maps, if you want to take a screenshot of it on your phone, and then like, you can make folders on your phone of like pictures or favorite it. Like if you don't favorite pictures too often, like favorite a bunch of photos in a row. So like you literally can just like pull up your phone and like go through them. This way, if you're at a water stop that doesn't have great cell reception, you're not waiting for an email to load to pull it up. You're not searching your email for, Pan Ohio, trying to find the right email that came through, because we all know that the phone does not sort email good anymore. So just things to make your life easier.
Piece of paper out of it.
That too, yeah. I mean, and we will, each water stop bin will have like some of those maps and things, but again, we all have our phones on us, like it's just kind of an easy thing to do. Couple fun things about lunch. So if you don't know Ben Ray, well, now you do because he's here. So Ben is our lunch staff captain. He did an incredible job last year. We kind of threw him into it, like literally was like, okay, you're gonna do this. And he did a great job. So he kind of is just like in charge of the lunch stop each day, make sure the caterers get there, the tents are set up, like everything is handled. I give him all those contacts so that if he needs to call a caterer, he can reach out to them directly. Just has made it a whole lot easier. So thank you. But so we do have the Pan Ohio Express. You've heard us mention it once or twice so far. Basically, we have riders that want to be along all 4 days because who doesn't want to be part of the carnival, right? But they were like, I don't know if I can manage like 80 to 100 miles a day. Let's do half of that. So we offer riders can ride from the start to lunch and then they can be, that's their finish line. So we really try to make it a big deal. Like when people are getting to lunch, we want a lot of people cheering. We want a lot of energy because that's their finish line for the day. And we don't want them to feel that that is any less impressive than making it to the daily finish because that was their goal. They set their goal to make it 50 miles and that's just as great as if, Stacy's goal is to make it to 80 miles, right? Like it's all personal goals. So, the Panhandle Express is a bus that will, it's not shuttles, it is a one trip usually, unless we like have a lot of people using it, because of heat like last year, but basically they sign up as a Panhandle Express rider in the beginning of the year, or maybe they'll tell us like now, like, hey, I thought I could do the full thing, but can you add me to the Panhandle Express list? We don't have to have them on the list to make sure that they go on the bus. If someone is just done at lunch and they say, I'm done, can I just take the bus to the finish? Absolutely. We will, there's a check, a sign in, we'll have, their name on there. Usually space is not an issue. If it is, we will, we can take that on an as-is basis. But we also then have a Penske truck, that one that dropped off the luggage circles back to put the bikes in. So we load up the bikes, those will go get shuttled back to the campus and we will unload those for them because usually the bus takes a little bit longer because people are finishing up eating lunch, right? So like sometimes if we know we've got all the riders and the bikes, we're like, okay, bikes are good to go, bus will be coming after. Does anyone have any questions about that? So again, they don't have to be on the list. We do try to make sure if someone is on the list that we have like not left them, but typically it hasn't been leaving until everyone's cleaned up anyway. So it really hasn't been an issue.
I would add to that,
Yeah.
I know Matt may be here later to talk a little bit more about the SAG team. Our support and gear team is phenomenal. They've the same group of volunteers that's been with us for many, many years. They'll also have a transportation captain at a lot of the stops. So if someone comes up to you at the water stop and you're trying to fill their water bottle, they're like, I'm exhausted, I'm done, can I get a SAG? You will know, we will let you know if you are at a stop that has that transportation captain to send that to that person, that they can arrange that for them, or if you're at a stop without that, you feel free to guide them to that SAG phone number that they can call. But especially at lunch, the SAG will be there too, so they may say, hey, I just had 4 people ask for a SAG, I'm gonna put them on the bus.
Yeah.
Or if the bus gets filled to capacity, then the SAGs can pick up everyone else after that.
Yeah,
So that reminded me of something that happened last year.
okay.
Which was, is there supposed to be a SAG person checking in with each stop? What, like, for instance, second stop last year, I think there was a biker that had a problem. And even I was there waiting for a SAG person to check in, and there was a SAG person, but he didn't have much information on how to get the bike back to the.
It depends. The SAGs are at some of the stops, but not all. So if they're not there,
And we do have
then the
the
rider
SAG
needs to
number.
call the phone number.
So
Which is
we'll-
on their wristband and it's on their bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess if they're a new rider, they may,
Yeah.
have forgotten, and we can make sure you all have that number too.
Yes,
Yeah.
Next time.
That's
So you can say, hey, I don't see them here. Let me call them for you.
So that was the
Call
thing.
for
There
the
was no
rider.
way to
Yeah.
communicate
Okay.
with.
And honestly, I don't know how familiar you all are, because most people have iPhones, like iPhone to iPhone, you can like touch iPhones and you can share a contact really easily. So it could even be something as like, as long as everyone has that number saved, if a rider comes up to you and says, I need like the SAG number, you just literally can tap and share. It's super easy. We can do that in demonstration.
And we do tell everyone to save those numbers
Yeah.
to their phone ahead of time, but obviously
But,
they don't
yeah.
all. There are 2 phone numbers. One is for during the ride for emergencies like that, the emergency number, you have a breakdown, you're on the side of the road, you need a ride, maybe a medical emergency or overheating, something like that. We tell the riders, this is the emergency number to call like while you're on the course. And then there's the non-emergency line that staff handles, which is, I can't find my luggage, or what time does dinner start, or things like that. They're not necessarily emergencies, but are for the things that happen while riders are on campus. So we'll make sure that you all have both of those numbers as well. do recommend you save them in your phone ahead of time. So if a rider comes up to you with a problem, if you don't know the answer, it's like, hey, I'm not sure, but here's the emergency line, call the SAG, or I don't remember what time dinner is. I'm in a place with no cell service. Here's the number, call or text the staff. So there are numbers and we'll make sure you all have those. And maybe we even put them on the signs that are at the stops too. I can do that.
Yeah,
But I might
great
be
plan.
to add,
That's a
again,
great
so
idea.
let's point, there are not a lot, but there are a couple of places where we get out to in rural Ohio
Yeah.
that you're not gonna have cell service anyway, so.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it later, but there's also an app app or slash website that that we started last year using called What 3 Words, that helps you pinpoint exactly where you are. So if you ever have to call in for a rider or something, you can pull that up and give them their exact location so that it's within a 10 by 10 foot radius, like it's really
Yeah,
precise, so that SAG can find you. So if you have a rider who's like, I'm passing out, I need to sit down, can you call for me? You'd be like, okay, I have rider number, bib number, and his name is Nick, and Nick says that he's feeling overheated and he might pass out. He is at Apple Banana Pear. And Matt will send someone to Apple Banana Pear, and it will
It's like
give them
right
the
here.
GPS directions to that particular spot. So there's no guessing.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that more, but
And also another,
it's really great.
if you are at one of those stops that has no cell service that we know about, there will be someone there that has a radio too. So the SAG team and the staff team and all that stuff, we have radio communications that we borrow, like, so if you are in a place and you're like, I'd love to call for help, my phone's on SOS, there will be someone that has a radio at that stop, one of the SAGs, that they can radio it in for you as well. For some of those items.
Cool. Any questions about, that's kind of like the day up to lunch.
Yeah.
And then now I'm a rider and I just rode into the college. And I have, the first thing I'm gonna do is dismount my bike and I need to park it. And we'll do our demonstrations when we go outside, but if you wanna walk them through it.
Yeah, so bike storage varies from school to school and some of the procedures will vary too. So if you're on bike storage, you'll get detailed instructions for the exact location where you are. But for the most part, there's some general rules that apply, like the rider's gonna come in with their bike and they're either gonna store it or you're gonna take it from them and put it into storage. The first thing is they need to take everything off the bike. We can't emphasize this enough because there are places where the storage is so small that it's virtually impossible to get back to the bike when we're doing it. And even the place like last year when we were at Otterbein, we had a really good new indoor location to store bikes. We didn't have to put them on transition racks. But we had to sort the bikes after the bikes were dropped off, which sounds crazy, but just like the luggage, we put bikes in rider order. But we can't do that when riders are coming in because we don't know what space. So most important thing is welcome the riders, congratulate them. And then next most important thing is as gently and forcefully as necessary, get them to take everything off their bikes. It's really bad, especially when we have to move bikes, if they've put their helmet next to their bike and their shoes next to their bike and their computers on it and 2 water bottles that are full and we put the bike upside down. And now there's Gatorade all over the floor that now we're tracking through because we're gonna move 150 bikes after that one. We've got a puddle of Gatorade that we quickly put down a t-shirt or a towel to try to mop up. So everything off the bikes.
Then bike storage is locked for the night and someone realized that they left their phone charger in their little pocket on the bike. And we can't get in and they want us to call security. So everything off your bike.
And you can gently remind them like, hey, they're gonna be locked up tonight. And if you happen to forget something, we're not gonna be able to get it for you. So let's get everything off, take it with you. And then there might be an exception to that at a certain school. But for the most part, if we congratulate them for coming across, did you have a great day? We hope you did. Take everything off your bike.
E-bike.
Don't leave that. E-bikes are gonna be, we're gonna save spaces for them for charging. Because people who use e-bikes will need to put them on a charger, which generally means along a wall space.
We shouldn't have too many, but
And again, if you're on bike storage, if I don't tell you, call me. Say, Bob, I got an e-bike. I'm here. Where do you want it? Like, okay, we'll figure that out. There might be, well, there will be, I'm sure. at Otterbein, one way or the other, there's gonna be a bike sortation thing that happens. It's either gonna be outside on transition racks, which means 4 in the morning, I'll need a crew. And, or if not, if we can do it inside like we did last year, probably after dinner, we'll sort the bikes in new number order. But, yeah, I think the big thing is, it's important to get the bikes in, it's important to get the bikes in safely. Don't let that override the accomplishment of the rider who's bringing it to you. I tend to do that. Like, give me your bike, get out of here, dinner's down.
Yes, don't be loud.
Well,
Generally a good rule, don't be loud. I'm kidding.
Be bye.
Okay.
you can be like Mike.
Like my.
You like Mike? You like Mike? Okay.
Okay.
It's over.
Okay, so rider check-in. So again, we are checking in riders all throughout the event because not only do we have 4-day riders, but we have 1 and 2-day riders. Okay, so and there's lots of opportunities for riders to check in. So think back, remember how I told you people are getting on buses? Actually, even before that. So Tuesday of event week, so event starts Thursday, kickoff dinner's Wednesday. Tuesday, we have check-in that starts. We have a check-in here in Cleveland, we have one in Columbus, and we have one in Cincinnati. Okay, we don't have a Dayton check-in separately than bus check-in. So they can check in at their respective offices or areas that they select, or they can check in when they're getting on the bus. So if they're getting on in Cincinnati, they can check in before getting on the bus. Then there's also check-in at John Carroll on Wednesday night and Thursday morning. Friday, you know, we have a couple people that are doing, or a handful of people that do 2-day riding. So I guess Worcester, no one's really checking in, but at Otterbein, you know, they might be checking in for 2-day riders. So we have a lot of people check in that day, not as much at Dayton either, but so the majority of check-ins, right? What that's gonna look like, so forgive me, I don't have an entire rider packet because we did really good at like cleaning out our stuff this year and I didn't save one. So they're gonna generally be a big envelope. Up here is going to have a big number, that'll be their bib number, okay? So it's also going to have on here their name, their jersey size, and name, jersey size,
Dorm room,
t-shirt size, no, dorms are inside, I think. Or maybe,
No, it's on the
it's on the outside too, maybe, okay. So then in the packet, so we create these packets, they'll be pre-made, we do this, the Friday before the event. Any jerseys that they earn will be in their packet, okay? To a point, if they earn it at a different point, then if you're working check-in, I will go through these specifics with you. You will not all be working check-in, so I'm just doing the kind of basics. So they can have their rider jersey, and then there's also a Dynamo jersey. So the rider jersey, everyone that's riding really should be getting because they would have raised the minimum, which is $1,328. And then the Dynamo jersey, vice versa. Dynamo jersey is if they raise $5,000 and up. Okay, so if they earn their jersey before the event, it'll be in their packet. They will also have their bib number, their bib number. They will also have, which again, we're going to pretend, in our magic folder here, bib boards. So we used to use safety pins. Now we have these wonderful little things called bib boards that don't put holes in your shirt, even though they do kind of put holes in your shirt, whatever. So they can put it on their back. Yeah, so that's in there. They will also have.
What information is on that?
Oh, that's so great. So on here, they have their rider number and their name, their team name, where they're from, their city. And then on the back, this is super important, is their emergency contact information. So if you have a rider that is at your location and something happens, or they, God forbid, something is wrong and they can't respond to you, first you're going to call, well, use your discretion. There hopefully will be a SAG there with you, but they would call either our emergency number if it's like non-life threatening, right? Or then you can call 911 and our emergency number. You're going to call both, right? Again, this will all be information that gets sent out.
Get an emergency contact, you're probably calling.
Right. And you also have emergency contact number. Yeah, it is.
Like this is a truly life-threatening emergency, call 911.
Yes.
But we appreciate if you also then call our emergency number so that that's also logged in our system. And sometimes, we have ambulance crews with us. Sometimes our ambulance crew might be closer than whoever's responding, especially if you're out in the middle of nowhere. But that way you can get response from both, so whoever can get there faster will get there.
It also goes back to, what I said earlier about, rider left behind. We need to be able to hold to account
Yeah.
so that we're not getting to the, to check in at, actual room check-in at the college and going, where's Bob? Bob it's 8 p.m. and Bob never checked in, right? Like, and then somebody on his team says, oh, Bob went to the hospital. You should know that. Right? And, like,
You should.
we should. So, yeah, if you ever call 911, call the emergency number immediately afterwards and say, hey, bib number such and such is being picked up by an ambulance. Unless you're closer, they're on their way.
Yeah,
Like,
and most times they would both respond anyway. Yeah.
On the front of that bib at the bottom is the phone number too.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, the emergency
That's
number.
actually those ones.
The emergency, sorry.
So.
That is our-
Yeah, that's all on there.
We'll have that on there.
Very small, but it's there. It is, yeah.
You know it because then you'll look like a dog too. So okay.
Picture around for a second.
No, in addition, in this envelope will also be a sheet of labels. That sheet of labels, has all their lodging information on it. So it'll say like, Thursday, born heater, Friday, thank you. It'll list your college, woo, it'll list what dorms they're staying in, right? So that's also just helpful for them to be able to see. But then there's also in here, there will be luggage tags. They're little like old school looking luggage tags. And they can put stick the label to the luggage tag and attach that to their luggage. We also then will have a sticker that goes over their handlebars that matches their bib number. Then there's also a helmet sticker if they choose to use that. The helmet sticker is kind of optional, but, and then there's a wristband for which gets them into meals and everything. There is another thing that I'm missing, a big thing.
Bike number?
Bike number, I think it's the bike number, the handlebar number. Anyway, again, if you're working registration, I will go through this in more detail with you. And it's all pretty self-explanatory too when you look through it. We also put their rider t-shirt in there. And so this is basically all their information, everything that they need. And there's some additional number labels that they can put on their luggage too. So it's easier to see, the number from far away. So if you're looking through all the luggage and you forget what number you are, you know what I mean? So it's a good thing to spot. Yeah.
So what's the difference between that check-in and the check-in that we do when we get to the dorm?
Oh, thank you, Bob. So that check-in, so when you are at the dorms, when you get to each dorm each day, there's kind of two check-ins, right? So I have these packets, right, at the college, day one, I have these packets, but I don't have anything to do with your college dorm entry, right? So your key and all that, your linen. So riders that have already been checked in and have their bib number on them already. When they get to the college each night, they need to go to dorm check-in, which is gonna be all right in the main lobby area. They're gonna go to dorm check-in. That's where they will get their room assignment, their key, and oftentimes they will give you your linen packet right there. So, we just really hope every year that there are pillows. We don't want them to be inflatable. If you haven't heard of Pillowgate 2019, we'll have to fill you in. So 2019, we got to Otterbein University and everyone was confused because there was no pillows in their linen packet. They got up to their room, ready to take a nap, and there's no pillows. And so we're getting all these calls to the non-emergency number. We probably got them to the emergency line. But, where's our pillows? Why aren't there pillows? So I call down and I'm like, guys, there's no, to the staff, the dorm staff, I'm like, there's no pillows. They're like, yeah, they're in the packet. So I'm like, okay, no, they're not. Yes, they are. So I literally, at this point, then I'm getting frustrated because all these people are asking me about the pillows. So I grab a packet and I go to the lady and I'm like, there's no pillow in here. And she opens the packet and she pulls out something that kind of looks like this. And she goes, they're right here.
And it has stories.
And it has a straw. It's like a Capri Sun, and you inflate it, and it was this size. And it was a blow-up pillow with like a slight layer of cloth on the top. It was disposable, a throwaway pillow. And I said, oh, absolutely not. These riders have just been riding 100 miles in 95-degree heat. They will not be sleeping on inflatable pillows. What you gonna do about it? And they said, well, nothing this year. So that's when I say, hey, Paul Purdy, I need you to hit up IKEA in Columbus and go buy pillows. So Paul Purdy went and bought 200 pillows from IKEA. We bought all the pillows. And so everyone's at dinner, and a text comes out from the system, and it's like, pillows, and there's a video, and it's a really bad video, but you can't see it because it's 2019 quality here. And it's like, everyone just cheering, pillows, like, and then that year at the recognition dinner, we decorated in inflatable pillows. Because like, so now it is like Pillowgate 2019 was like the thing. So anyway, we will have pillows. I make sure every year. I also have made sure now we have pillowcases because that was another year debacle. It's great. It's fine. If you're staying in dorms and would like, you have your own luggage in your vehicles and want to bring your own linens and blankets, go for it.
Yes.
And we'll talk lodging and things later. But yeah, so check in. You're gonna check in with the dorm, and the dorm staff kind of run that. I'll be nearby because there's oftentimes many issues with dorms. Someone's keys for the wrong room, someone's luggage isn't in the dorm. I'm there to troubleshoot. That's kind of my thing when I'm there, so I will handle that. Let's see. So yeah, concierge available. What?
Your most common complaints is their key doesn't work, and I locked myself out.
Yeah.
Or my roommate locks me out. My roommate locked me out. Some of the rooms actually have an adjoining bathroom. Here's the other issue is, so one side goes in, they lock the door, they use the bathroom. They're supposed to unlock the door, go back to their room, so the other side can go in, lock that door and use the bathroom. Sometimes that's
Be a better system.
occasionally you'll get my dorm room smells funny. And
Yeah.
then we just work with the college to get them a different dorm room. But yeah, the worst are when people get locked out when they go to the shower, so you really try to hammer home that they should take the key with them to the shower. Nobody wants to be sending their roommate halfway across campus to get a key or to.
In their towel.
A towel.
We've
I
had
would
that.
say not their roommate, because their roommate would be,
Oh, they were
but a dorm mate,
That's right.
where they're standing outside their room going, could you run over and ask them to?
So there's a lot of moving parts at this point in time, right? We've just set up the arch, people are coming in, we're doing bike storage, we're doing check-in, we're greeting riders, we're sending them to the happy hour. Basically, all of us are pointing directions. If you have the volunteer shirt on, some rider's gonna ask you something. So come up with a nice way to defer if you don't know, or pull out your map on your phone or on a sweaty piece of paper, and do your best to be polite and point them the way. One other thing that we added I think we added the year that I came on board was the recovery zone. And so this is like mostly recovery gear, like percussion massagers, inflatable boots that basically help people recover. They're called recovery boots.
With like.
They're based on
blood
G suits from fighter pilots, so they basically push the blood back up. They're super popular, and sometimes that's problematic because we don't have a lot of them. I think we'll have 4 sets. Maybe Chris will bring more this year.
There's more here. He's got some saying.
Okay, so the thing is, you might be tasked with working recovery zone. Basically, that means you're gonna get people set up in the different kinds of boots, and we'll teach you how. You're gonna start their little timer. They only get 15 minutes because there's literally a line. And this is where our riders become 7th grade boys, all of them. My turn, my turn. He got longer than me. It's my turn. I went to the bathroom and lost my spot in line and they got in front of me. I mean,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
need to be the most polite, gracious person ever to do this.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, because it can be challenging, but it's also one of the things that riders love.
Yeah.
Absolutely
We get
love
so
it.
many great, like, feedback on it. You know, we should start a thing where we get a kickback from anyone that buys them, because people have been buying, like, all of Auto Care.
I think
So
Libby,
many, Libby brought a pair, like,
Libby buy a pair?
You think give everybody a discount when it.
Yeah.
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 so,
But long story short, your job when you're there is somebody who's done it before, or me, will help you set up the area. They will need plugs and outlets and reclining chairs and all that. And then it's to manage the people and their expectations, clean the gear in between, because you're gonna have a guy who's like sweats.
Well, here we go.
Sweat.
How many pops of sweat today?
Oh my gosh. And like, they'll get out of the boots and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with this? So we sanitize and wipe them down before the next rider. Some riders don't care. They'll follow you.
they don't
It's like,
care.
it is
Some riders
straight up.
and shower first and then come.
I
Yeah.
appreciate those.
We like.
It sounds like a repulsive job. It probably is to just say, I don't want to do this. On the other hand, if you've ever been a caregiver for someone, you're probably well suited to actually doing it. And you know,
Spot, because you get to have like great conversations.
You do have
We're like,
Safe.
relax, next time tell you all the things.
Because if you can get it right, and it takes a little bit of, and I'm kind of the math and nerdy timing guy. Like, I like when I get it so that he's done and 3 minutes later, she's done, 3 minutes later, so that it's like this nice little steady flow. It's really good. Like, you just,
It sounds like a planning kind of job, doesn't it?
yeah.
yeah.
For somebody who likes.
And then at the end, you just fold them up and you put them in their bin and we take them and put them on the supply truck. So that's recovery boots.
All right.
I'm not even gonna stand up because
That's fine.
we're a little behind and I wanna be quick. So we have happy hour when they come in. Everyone gets sent to dinner. And then we have an after party because it's Pan Ohio and that's
Like
kind of
party.
synonymous with partying. One of our writers coined it as the best party on two wheels. So, but we have made efforts over the years to recognize sobriety and the importance of that. So we have NA drinks, we have soft drinks as well as alcoholic drinks. We try to provide games. A lot of times people just want to socialize, but we've also have one night where they do karaoke. We have cornhole games. We have giant Jenga, things like that, so that people can just wind down at the end of the day. They eat dinner, all day, they've been going, and we give them a time to go, oh, that was a lot. Let's sit and talk about how awesome we are.
A couple things to add to the dinner and drinks portion. On Friday night at Otterbein, I encourage you to take advantage of Uptown. They have like their 4th Friday celebration. Basically, it's a big street festival that happens at the same time. It's in walking distance. Super fun, vendors, street music, just a fun way to like experience town while you're there. So we have, typically after dinner, we have tons of people that go down there. But then they'll mosey on back and we'll do an after party. Last year or 2 years ago, we didn't end up doing an after party.
It didn't happen.
2 years ago?
2 years ago, because
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Fourth Friday doesn't happen every year.
That's right. There's
So the years that it doesn't happen, it's easier for us to have an after party on Friday.
but we're doing it again.
We are.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
fairly missed.
Yeah, people overbumped that we didn't last year,
Yeah.
so.
It was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, and we thought, everyone's gonna go downtown. We don't.
Uptown.
Downtown, let's go uptown. Uptown, we don't have to worry about having an after party, and people were like, where's they going out?
Yeah.
Where they go, and they go
Or they
for
want
an
to
hour,
take
and then they
you,
come
yeah.
back. Reminder, everybody who is a 4-day volunteer gets all their meals.
Fully, yeah.
And you're welcome to join the, and everyone is welcome to join the celebrations, the happy hours, the after parties. If you worked at a water stop and you want to stop by and you're hungry, we're not going to turn you away.
Yeah.
I mean,
All volunteers are welcome.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And then in terms of also dinner and drinks on Saturday night, we have our big recognition celebration. So it used to be a dinner. Now we have dinner in the cafeteria. It has worked so much better. And we have a dessert reception for our presentation. We keep it pretty close to an hour exactly. It was amazing last week, 59 minutes. And then we also have another little social after where people can hang out and just enjoy talking to each other. But it's wonderful. And the way it has worked out has been amazing. So we're very happy about that. But yeah, again, you guys are fully part of everything. So eat the lunch, take the, take full advantage of everything that we're offering, because it's not just for the riders, it's for you guys too.
We've been trying to dial in the quantity of dessert they give us at the dessert, and it's always too much, so feel free to take an entire tray of dessert.
Slash. I need the Tupperware. So we thought they were like little bite-sized things, so we ordered like 3 to 4 per person. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's a cheesecake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right, see, it's been really good at the feast for family.
Yeah.
Everything was bite-sized.
Yeah.
And there was not enough food.
Our person and our riders were like, hungry.
Breakfast?
And we have to figure out. So last year we went, okay, let's go triple. And then they were like full cupcakes, full cups of pudding, kind of mousse
Plus,
stuff.
they were not supposed to have dessert in the cafeteria and they did.
They had dessert for the first dessert. Compensating.
I think they were trying to make up for previous years.
If you stumble upon something where there seems to be an abundance of food and
No one
you can
was
tell us towards the end, don't be shy.
I'll be down.
Take some for the next guy.
Right? So basically, lather, rinse, repeat each day, right? So just to kind of recap on the day in the life, we are going to start at John Carroll University on Wednesday. We're going to set up, we're going to have dinner and a presentation. We're going to have a Hope Lodge speaker who also, Hope Lodge speaker and their caregiver, who are currently, or were just recently staying at Hope Lodge. He is also riding with us this year, which is really, really cool. So they will be speaking. Yeah, I'm sorry, the caregiver's riding, yes. And they're absolutely amazing. So we'll have that presentation. Then we'll have, dinner and drinks and hang out. Everyone will go to bed. We will wake up bright and early. We will start our ride at 7:30. Or as that's hush hush still, but so we will start at 7:30. Then we are going to load up the luggage. We're going to load up the supplies. We're going to drive it over to Worcester. We're going to set it all up. The riders are going to come in. They're going to check into their dorms. Blah, 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 blah. We're going to just continue on our way, right? Then we're going to get all the way through. It's now we're starting on day 4. We are leaving from Wright State University in Dayton, and we are going to the finish line. Our finish line is at Lunken Airport. It is awesome. It's a very cool venue. We're literally like in an airfield, and you can see all the airplanes out there. It's pretty awesome. Highly recommend, to be there, if you're doing a water stop earlier in the day and can make it out, sometimes it's a little tough because if you're working a later water stop, you don't necessarily get to the finish line, but we will work with all of you. So, but yeah, so then the buses arrive, just like, we bus people in, now we have to bus people out, right? So the buses and the trucks are going to arrive at Lunken Airport. The trucks load up the bikes and the people get on the buses and then they go, the Cincinnati people go home. And then we've got these buses now going to Dayton and Columbus and Cleveland and taking everybody home.
And if you don't mind riding on 4 wheels to Cincinnati and you've worked a water stop one of the other days and you want to come down and share and see what this is all about, you're also welcome to do that because we love having lots of cheers at the finish line. And, if you've already been participating at some level and you've connected with some riders, it's a good way to create a full circle kind of experience. So I would encourage you that even if you're volunteering on day 1 through 3, and you're just a single day, if you can come out and you don't mind driving to Cincinnati, it's really worth it to see them. It's pretty cool, especially the 40 riders come in.
We want to have as much of a party feeling at the end. So if you have any people that are going to be at the finish line and we try to get you to volunteer for something that's later in the day, just let us know and we'll do our best to accommodate. We tend to have those last couple of water stops staffed mainly by people that don't have people at the finish line and don't intend to go, like local people that are just volunteering for the day or whatever. So we'll do everything we can to get you to the finish line if you ever desire to do it.
Does anyone, yeah.
I'm a 4-day volunteer.
Okay.
My husband's riding.
Uh-huh.
I'm in Cincinnati and I'm driving down there. Is it okay to bring him back?
Oh, yeah.
No, put them on the bus.
Yeah, there you go. I might need to put them on the bus after I went there for 4 days.
No, my question was, do we need to come back here to help unload or anything?
Oh.
Do I go straight, can I go?
Just the fact that you offered that, no, you go home, you have done enough, no, no. I would I mean,
But what are
no.
we doing Monday morning?
Yeah, what are you doing Monday morning after you get a nice sleep? Day off. No, we'll be fine, but that was a very kind offer, but no. We encourage you to take your rider home, head home, go do your thing. You know, we're usually cleaned up and out of there by like 5, the latest is 5 o'clock. I think last year was like 3:30 or 4 or something. It was nice.
Because Mansell, I'll say one of the last minute, but he was volunteering last year, he's like, we're done early this year.
Yeah, we also, we moved, like, we started, or like, because the heat was just
Yeah.
crazy last year. Any other questions on what a day-to-day?
Just quickly on the
Yeah.
last question of the general rule, buses tend to operate kind of on a buddy system thing, so once everybody is on the bus back to their city, they kind of look around, they're like, oh, Bob isn't here, where's Bob? Just make sure you let everyone, or, let your friends on the bus know you found alternate transportation.
Yeah,
And they should be looking for you on the bus.
so we don't have to hunt down the bus on the side of the road, on the highway, and say,
No,
can you get this person on your bus? She missed the bus. Yeah,
no.
never, no, never. Never. Yes,
And don't be afraid to let riders know that they can take food and beverages on.
yes,
bus.
we actually
The
send,
party can continue.
we do send box lunches, with Cleveland, because they've got a 4-hour drive. But honestly,
Wait on this trip.
they can take snacks and food, all kinds of drinks, they can take whatever they want to take home.
I will
Yeah.
say Cardinal is very cool
Yeah.
about that on the buses, the drivers, like just,
Yeah.
sorry to trash them when you leave and then fine.
An important question. Do you know what color our volunteer shirts are this year?
Not yet.
Don't give a big
They will be a bright color is what.
Do you have an idea? Is there something you'd like to see?
Bright green.
You know what's crazy is I actually was thinking, we haven't done a green, but that doesn't, I mean,
It's,
we haven't done green. We did a sea foam a couple years ago. We have not done green. I was thinking like, I'm still, well, I guess it's what.
Bright green.
Bright green, yeah.
Big,
Yeah.
Thanks, love.
As soon as we know, we'll let you know. We're working on it. That's like our next thing. Yes, that's fair. I love that question. That's fair. Great, now I need everyone to get out their paper for a pop quiz. I'm just kidding. Okay. That was a lot of information we threw at you.
Yeah.
We don't expect you to have retained all of that. We're just trying to kind of give you that general feel. So you at least have heard things before. So you're like, I've never heard of that. Like, at least it's like maybe sort of gonna be fresh in your head. But again, you'll get most of this information, and the rest of it you will just see and you'll figure it out. And ask other, in a little bit, we're gonna take some time and you guys can chit chat and stuff. Ask people about their first year experience and like what tips and tricks they have, or maybe we can go around and share that later when we're doing some of our activities. But yeah, it's a good time. We won't leave you hanging either. We'll make sure you guys feel comfortable and have contacts to reach out to if you need anything. Volunteer tasks.
Goals and tasks. What we have is, like I said, we have a packet. There are a few things that are just decided or confirmed Friday, right? That we're reasonably sure that we won't need transition racks for Otterbein, so that can come out. But the majority of this information, and we're not Gatorade. Yeah, that has to come out of there, but a lot of things. Again, to go through, if you just go through and look and read the different descriptions, you'll see all the different roles that take place at these locations. So if you say, I signed up for setup, what the hell does that mean? You can go to the place where it talks about what is setting up, and it'll say, here are the general things you can expect for when you're setting up a start line versus when you're setting up a finish line versus, if you're doing rider check-in, whether you're checking in for the dorms or you're checking in for packet pickup, things like that. And I'm not going to belabor the point because there is a lot to read, and we did just do a really thorough really all the days of the life, not just a day and a typical day, but Alyssa really.
Sorry,
She got really excited there and went through all of the days. So I think we're pretty good with that. And what I'd like to focus on more is explaining to people who haven't been a part of support in here and what emergencies mean and some of those details about what we typically consider an event. Incident, like what's an incident, when we have to close the route, basically what the color flags mean. When we say, someone said it went red almost immediately. So we can explain what that means. So I'm going to ask Stacy and Daryl to lead the conversation there.
Really, yeah, and I feel like we kind of organically covered some of these things as they came up in conversation with, the SAG team. SAG stands for Support and Gear. Sue's son Jeff was part of that team, was the sweep rider. They are an incredible group of our eyes and ears on the road and our support for riders that need to get employer medical support. So we have, I think right now, about 12 vehicles that will be on the road. They won't necessarily be on course all the time. They tend to be stationed at different places along the road and intersections where they feel like they need a little support, or sometimes at some of the water stops. And they will be the people that if a rider needs help, like I just need to take a break and I want to skip ahead on my course, or I'm done for the day, I want to ride, they will come to wherever that rider is and pick them up and move them forward or provide medical. We also have a medical crew that will be with us so they can dispatch that. They also run a big communications trailer. So it's one of the coolest things on this event that there's a trailer that'll be at the finish line every day with communication staff in it. They carry their radios and they are constant, like, it's really cool to hear the radio chatter where they're talking about where the riders are. They know where the last riders are. They know who's through what stops. They stand on the corners with counters and count how many riders have passed points. So they really have a sense of who's where.
I mean, that is primarily what they do. They're not professional bike transporter people. They're professional radio communication. A lot of them are involved with like weather emergencies and that sort of stuff. So they are communicators and they know how to do whatever, but they might not know how to fix a flat.
So figure out how to get in touch with the mechanic.
if you get a chance and you're having a conversation with any of the SAG guys, like if you're at the locations where they have their command center set up, like ask to, if like they have some downtime, ask to see it.
It's pretty
Because
cool.
it's really cool setup. It's like, it's stuff you don't even think about that's going on behind the scenes of an event like this.
They
Like,
might seem grumpy,
they're just, that's
but
how they are.
it's their
like,
home. They love talking about.
They just, yeah.
So
That's all right. It's so much.
They're gonna ask people too, if you ask them what kind of radio they use, you're gonna get like, not high level, you're gonna get detailed, and all you can make eye contact, they're gonna keep going.
Yeah. But they're great people. They're really great.
The main group, the event support group, Matt Nickerson and Bill Ulrich come with that, and then Susie Lawrence is our other co-lead on the SAG team. They will go out and do route checks, and they'll be out ahead of the riders, making sure that no signs fell down or got blown away or taken down in the middle of the night, and really just keeping eyes on everything. There's always problems along the way. They're incredible. So I encourage you to interact with them. They are also volunteering their time reporters. They have their own separate training meeting because they have some very specific things to their role. But we are all part of the Pan Ohio volunteer team, so I hope you get a chance to get to know some of them. We do have criteria, and we will get a handout or a handbook, by the way, but those of you that have been with us before know, in addition to this list of tasks, there is a comprehensive handbook that talks about the what, when, why, where, and how of everything about this that will be out probably around the time of our Volunteer 101 call with all the details spelled out in writing to you. You can print that or have it on your phone. But we do have criteria for weather emergencies as well, or anything that could cause a course closure. Do you want to talk about the weather emergency stuff?
Yeah, yes, I will talk about it briefly. This is an ongoing thing that we're trying to work out because there are different criteria for deciding that the heat level is so high that it could cause rapid medical circumstances. What we learned last year in the extreme heat that we had is that we passed through a lot of different temperature islands, heat islands, cooling islands based on the tree cover or whatever. So we can't just say, oh, this section is in a black condition, everything's black, because we might be passing from a green into a black and back into a green. So we're kind of back to the drawing board and figuring out how to handle those situations. I'm sorry I don't have more of an answer for you on that.
For a second, though, on what like green and yellow, and I think, because one of the other things you'll see on your list is that like at the water stops, there will be a flag and you'll have a set of colored flags in your bin. You're like, what the heck are these? And they're just a way to visually display what the conditions of the course are. Your green is, hey, all systems are go, everything's great, it's 68 with some cloud cover, and it's a perfect day to be out riding bikes, no concerns. And then we have thresholds based on the wet bulb load temperature. So it's not just temperature, it's a combination of temperature and humidity and wind speed that cools things off and all these things that turn into this thing called the wet bulb load temperature. Won't nerd out too much. And we have thresholds. We're currently using the US military thresholds. We might back those off a little bit because there were a couple times last year that we got right up to the verge of needing to close the course and quite honestly, in hindsight, maybe I should have.
There were
So we
times,
might back those off. a
there were
little bit
times
this
when we
year.
had well past the threshold, but we didn't have any riders in that zone at the time, so.
Yeah,
Like-
so it's rough,
Yeah.
but the point of it is like yellow is, hey, we're getting concerned, and this is not only temperature, but also maybe there's a massive storm coming in that we're keeping an eye on or things like that. Red is, we prefer people to sort of stay where they are temporarily, or it's like right on the verge. If there's a storm coming through, like black is course is closed, everyone needs to stop and stay where they are, and we'll make arrangements to pick them up. That could be temporary because there's a major thunderstorm blowing through, and if everyone like takes shelter where they are, it'll pass through, and 30 minutes from now, everyone continue on. We've done that many times. Or it could be the heat has reached too high of an index, we are done for the day. That's only happened once in Ohio history. I was too, it's getting into shape. That's only happened once, and that's where, you know, the SAGs will really be communicating where are the riders now, because they need to arrange to go get them. And if there are a lot still on the course, do we need to get that shuttle bus to come back for a minute and sweep people up and pick up the bikes? So you will get communication from, each water stop will be assigned a water stop lead. So we will make sure that you know who the lead is at your water stop, and that the lead is the one that gets the communication from the SAG or the staff team or us about, we have to go to black, keep your riders there. This is where riders could get frustrating because you're gonna say you're not allowed to leave, and they're gonna be like, well, I paid to do this ride, I'm going, and they'll leave. Just write their number down and call us with it, and we'll take care of them. But we also want you to, like, that's for your protection too. Like, yeah, I don't care if that rider thinks they're heat acclimated and they can handle it. I'm not gonna make you stand out there to give them Gatorade at the next stop. So that is to get you into shelter too. If it is hot, take more frequent breaks. If you need to go sit in your car and turn your air conditioning on for a while, do it. You need to get in the shade, you know, we try to have extra ice. Use those cooling blue towels on yourselves too, but just know that, like, we will probably tighten up that threshold of when we need to post the course.
By the same token,
Last year.
we often pick spots where there's shade and things like that. So it may not seem as hot to you or when the riders are sitting there, that it is as hot as it is on the road, but we have to remember that the asphalt is reflecting up heat and all of the, and they don't necessarily have the shade that, you know, it's way different when you're riding between a whole bunch of cornfields versus if you're riding on the trail and you've got the cover of the trees. And so you may not even realize how hot it is. They may not realize how hot it is because they got there and they don't know that the next long stretch is all just cornfields and no coverage. And they're going to be out in the midday sun. So it's all about education and making people understand that we're looking out for everyone's best interest.
So with that, the flip side of that is, that for the reason that they are moving through space, even if it is really hot out there, as long as they're riding, they probably feel better than you do as volunteers stationary and stuff. So if we're yellow, be looking after each other because you guys might be pushing closer to red than the riders are. And if we're red, definitely take care of yourselves. And if anybody needs to stop and take a break or get inside a car with the air conditioner running or whatever, the last thing we want is for you guys to start dropping.
Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And take care of each other.
Hydrate, yeah, use the hydration.
Make yourself the hydration, please, you know?
That guidebook also includes things like the symptoms of heat exhaustion and dehydration and all that. So we ask the riders to watch out for each other, like to check in with each other when you're at those stops out there, know what the signs and symptoms are. Because sometimes if you're experiencing it yourself, sometimes it comes with some confusion and you may not realize that you yourself are having an issue,
Right.
but you might recognize it in someone that's working with you. So just, keep an eye out for each other, know that, like, you're welcome to call an emergency line too and say, hey, my partner working at this water stop with me is getting some heat exhaustion. Could you please send the medical crew out here? Like, they're there for you as well. So we'll put that number on the signs. It's also on every rider's back on their bib. But, they're there to keep everyone safe. So feel free. I will say that medical number is call only. Like the non-emergency number, you can text the staff, but if you need to get a hold of the SAG crew, don't text that number, call it, and it will go to whoever's in the vacation station at the time.
We like to say if you text or email, expect you might get a response on Monday. No one is taking time to look at their texts during this.
That number,
Well,
non-emergency.
We'll have one person that will be
Oh, that.
monitoring that.
Yeah, but the emergency line is closed.
Yes.
So they know that they're gonna get it immediately, whoever's in the command center at the time, because they rotate their shifts too. You don't wanna text someone who may not be in the command center at that time, so.
One other thing
Any
about
questions about that? Yeah.
the SAG is the SAG are all equipped with, like small versions of the water stop bins.
Yeah.
So they have some
Yeah.
snacks and hydration. They have a little first aid kit and some like supplies. What was that?
They have an inner tube.
Yep, inner tubes and pumps.
The riders are responsible for knowing how to use them.
Yeah.
And extra sunscreens too, if you run out of
Oh, yeah.
sunscreen, there's the sign.
Riders are responsible for applying sunscreen.
I have a funny story about that.
Anything else?
Yeah, feel empowered, but also don't feel like you're responsible. If you have some medical training, cool, but don't feel like you have to. Your job is to call the number and get someone in there.
Yeah.
Just a thought, if that emergency number's on the back of the bib, maybe on our shirts too?
Or a bad idea, like on shirts or on,
Wristbands or
yeah, it's definitely on the,
wristbands too.
it's on the wristbands, volunteers get wristbands. It's also on like the binder, like the cover of the like binder that's in the water stop bin. But I like the idea of it on signs too. I think that's important. And if everyone can program, we can even bring it up later and everyone can program it into their phone. Just so that it's already saved and, you label it as Pan Ohio SAG or something, just so everyone has it right at their fingertip.
Yeah, and if you call the non-emergency number, because that's the only one you can remember, because frankly, it's really easy to remember, especially if you've been here long enough for 328, we can give you the emergency.
Yeah.
Or if you text us and say, I can only remember this, what is the emergency number? We can send it to you.
But just, emphasize what Stacy was saying. If you have experience in handling a situation, great, but I don't want anyone to ever leave their comfort zone on something. We don't want you taking on any liabilities that you're uncomfortable with. On the other hand, you're all completely empowered to handle any situation as you see fit. And that could be from as minor as you're at a water stop and you're running low on ice, and you know that there's a convenience store around the corner, and you can spare someone to go grab some ice just to tide you over until someone arrives.
Yeah.
Keep the receipt. We're good to go. And any situation that you think you can handle that doesn't cross over into
Safety.
safety. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly,
Go for
we're breaking laws. I mean, do what you need to do.
Don't take out
Yeah.
the power line.
Oh,
You wouldn't be in that position.
so you have to have stories and stories are fun.
Don't take out the power.
Don't take out the power lines. So one of our truck drivers back in 2019 was a year. That was that year, wasn't it? Or was it 2021?
No, it was 2019, I think.
No, it was not my,
No.
no, it was 2021.
It was after
Cloverleaf?
It was 20.
No, it was the first year we went back to, first year we went back to
Okay.
2022.
So I'm a passenger in the truck. I am not driving. Let's just practice that, please.
Because she loves driving and she would
I do.
never make this.
I do. I drive trucks all the time. And it's fun, but I hadn't driven a truck at this point yet, so I was just a passenger. And the clearance of the truck is like 13.1 is usually like 13 feet 1 inch, right? Is like the clearance, but the truck tells you in there, I think like it gives you, basically it tells you enough so like you have plenty of clearance. Well, we're in the city of Seville, and Seville, it turns out, doesn't have the correct, their electrical wires are not at code. So their wire, it was, the wire was sagging a couple inches, and the guy that was driving the truck, like, had a CDL, like, and we don't even require CDLs because it's just not required for the trucks we use. But like, he was a very experienced truck driver, so like, he knew what he was doing. Driving on into a water stop, you know, pulls on in the park entrance, and all of a sudden, like, we like slam forward, and this like loud noise and a bright light, and what is happening? Turns out the truck caught the electrical wire, pulled down the telephone wire, like the telephone poles, broke 2 telephone poles. We took out power to the entire city of Seville for an entire day. So Mr. Seville, Mr. Sheriff of Seville, he comes up and he like rolls up, and I'm sitting in the truck, and he's like, yeah, well, I don't even remember what like he was saying, but he's like, I just don't understand how this could happen, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, listen, like, you know, like, we're sorry, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, well, you know, every village has one. And I'm like, I suppose, and what is that? Like, there's some like quote about a village idiot or something. So he was like, well, I'm an idiot. And he was like really, really mad. And it turns out the lady that like filed the permit at the city of Seville, like, didn't file the permit. So like, there wasn't even like a permit on, it was just like this whole disaster. She ended up getting like fired, that we ended up like taking out power to the entire city of Seville. I ended up hearing from my cousin like 2 weeks later who lives in Seville. She's like, yeah, I couldn't figure out why I didn't have power. And I was like, that's my fault. Well, not like actually, but like, so that's a good story too. So don't take out any power lines. There'll be plenty more stories to come throughout the day. So we are gonna try to get done with our section on time. So I'm gonna move into timing, supplies, and what to wear. So in terms of timing, I'm actually gonna look at that as, I don't know what that was actually meant to be. Probably what I did earlier is like the timing of things. But what we're gonna say is timing of now until Pan Ohio.
Yeah.
So it is now, how many days? We're down to like 40 days or something to Pan Ohio, which is absolutely crazy. So between now and then, show of hands, has anyone filled out the lodging survey?
4 days.
4-day volunteer.
We'll be signing up tomorrow.
Okay, we got some work to do. We will handle all this. We will walk you through all this in a little while. We'll make sure if we need to pull up computers, we can do that. We'll work with you. This is for lodging on basically like where you're staying and how to book rooms and all the things. So, okay, you did?
I did not.
Okay, we will get all that handled. Basically, I just wanted to get an idea of where we're at. We'll probably actually work that in at some point later today to actually do it. So between now and the event, we're gonna do the lodging survey, okay? Yes, we're all gonna do that. There is also, you're all signed up on the Sign Up Genius, I believe. If you're not, we'll get that handled. We will make sure you're all signed up in all the ways you need to be. There's also going to be, Volunteer 101, which is on July 8th. Thank you, July 8th. Volunteer 101 is going to go over a lot of what we are going over today. However, it will be a little bit more specific to your roles. Also, however, I'm just gonna preface this, if you can't make it to Volunteer 101, we will be recording it. It's not the end of the world. You were here, you went through all of this, like, it'll be slightly different, but also cover some of the same things. So like, don't like move. Oh, July 8th at 7 p.m.
Yeah, John Carroll.
No,
It's virtual.
virtual. Sorry, it'll be just a, like a Zoom call.
So I'll probably already be there, because I think Matt was saying, we were planning on getting here early, so like I.
No, July 8th. That's a couple weeks ahead.
Oh.
No, you're not getting it done early.
It's a Wednesday.
Yes.
There.
2 weeks.
It's all good.
Plan well.
Listen, it's okay. So Volunteer 101, it's just a call. virtual, you can get on video or you can just call in, whatever you want to do. And I will also, in one of our breaks later, see if anyone is interested in helping with bin packing. So I know Sue and I have talked about it. I know Karen, we talked about it, I think at one point with the bin packing, yes. And then I know you're gonna be there. What?
All these retirees.
I know, right? So, yeah, so we're gonna be bin packing, and it's gonna be nice because we're all gonna do it together and then it'll all be, yeah, it'll be great. So those are some things that'll happen between now and then. Okay, so like what to bring and what to wear. So you are going to get volunteer shirts. And fun fact, you will get 4 of the same shirt. If for some reason you don't, what?
4-day volunteers.
4-day volunteers, I'm sorry, 4-day volunteers will get 4 shirts. Raise your hand if you're not a 4-day volunteer. That's what I thought, that's what I thought, okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
You'll get
You'll get 4 shirts. If for some reason you don't care and don't think you'll get sweaty and only want 2, that's fine, just let me know, but I will order you all 4 shirts because we get real sweaty and it's just a whole thing. So,
last year myself.
be comfortable, tennis shoes, yoga pants, shorts, whatever you're comfortable in, athletic shorts, dress for the weather, bring an umbrella, bring portable phone chargers. If you don't have one, get one because you're gonna probably want it. One thing we do have, which is really cool, is we have a charging station that we bring to the lunch stop and to like the campus each day. So we do have a charging station with some cords that, if a rider, because they're using their phones out on the course with their GPS and everything, and all of us are on our, we're texting back. I think my phone dies at like 9 a.m. but in Ohio weekend, So definitely bring your portable chargers and your chargers. Like I said, umbrellas or ponchos, camp chairs. We do have camp chairs that we bring to set up at the water stops, but bring some for yourselves. I do like the ones that we give you, we kind of give like 2 for the water stop and then the rest for volunteer or the riders. But if you guys want to bring your own, and then you can use all of those for the riders, just so they can have a seat in the shade kind of thing too. So camp chairs. Another good suggestion is if you're 4-day, one of the Camelback water packs, not required, but something nice to have on hand. If you have one, bring it. Don't go spending money on extra things. A hat or a visor, all your sun protection, your sunscreen, your sunglasses, make sure, we are the American Cancer Society. We are preaching sun safety. I'm maybe not in a good example. My face is still a little burned from the other day, but bring your sun protection.
We do recommend 2 pairs of
I
shoes.
just gonna say that.
Oh,
Two pairs of tennis shoes.
You said shoes earlier, and I want to
Yeah.
make sure you didn't forget.
Oh, thank you. 2 pairs of tennis shoes because what I find is after one day, I don't know, it just feels better to be able to switch up your shoes because something's, rubbing weird and it's nice to take a break. Some people,
Again.
what was that?
Mold.
Oh, okay.
The best.
Lots of pairs of socks. Bring a pair of sandals if you are one that likes to get some air in your feet in the evenings.
I recommend compression socks if you're standing for.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like a runner sock.
Yeah.
Or even the full cat length
Okay,
compression socks, because they'll make your feet, your legs feel so much better.
good to know.
That's why I wear this side.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, what else is big things to bring?
You know, all your keys, your phone, your phone.
What was that? Oh, yes, absolutely, fanny pack, yes, highly recommend a fanny pack. Yeah, they're amazing. Some of you may have POHR ones that we've had in the past. I don't know if we have any of those left. I can look, but,
Spacious.
now you got a cooler. So these are gifts for all of you. There's a couple little things in them as well. There's a dry bag in there, and a pair of sunglasses. So you guys are all set with some swag. Make sure you guys you are more than welcome to help yourself to anything at the water stops, anything at any time. But if you have certain things that you like, feel free to bring those as well. Your own snacks, your own.
How much of this hydration stuff are we getting to replace the Gatorade?
I do not know.
You're
Did
still
you say
telling.
with an enormous amount?
It was a ridiculous amount. I think it was 2 or 3 bottles per stop per rider.
What is
Okay,
The Gatorade's fifth.
Oh, did we get that? We got that confirmation?
No.
We were
that's different.
working on the math for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have enough that, don't hesitate, because everybody,
Oh, yeah.
all of the volunteers are hydrating in the same way as the riders.
Yeah.
You don't lose your electrolytes. Bob, what's the word of the day?
But,
It's all sweating. Help.
I will say, maybe bring some water bottles. We do have cases of water available. SAG usually grabs a case for their vehicle. We have some in the college dorms. I feel like sometimes they just don't make them around to everybody that they could, should, would, but it's not the worst thing.
Think about like Stacy has.
Or just bring refillable water bottles, yeah. Because
Great.
the waters, we have it at the.
We also we'll have them more at lunch is the only place where we really have canned soda and bottled waters. And we'll have recycle bins for the lunch stop, but the regular stops are gonna get the giant Culligan jugs, so bring us something that you can fill up from the jugs.
Right. Anyone else have tips on things to bring that have worked for them in the past?
I would say if you have not just those paper towels, blue towels,
Yeah,
they make nylon.
cooling
Usable
towel.
cooling towels, and you just wet them and you can just, and then you just keep re-wetting it, it will last the whole day.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
Or the arm sleeves, like that you can get like sun sleeves, because you're gonna be wearing a shirt that's visible.
Right.
But your arms are gonna be exposed to protect them from the sun, and they also can be cooling ones where you wet them, and then you put back on your arms, or you put water on. Oh, yeah.
I never thought to cool those down.
Oh,
Yeah, and after if you have water, stop, I would take the water bottle and I would pour it on my arms, and then they hang on to the water and
Yeah.
they keep your arms.
Just pay really close attention to this little sliver where the shirt meets.
Longer than my son.
So if anybody has access to those kind of portable misting systems, or we had a water stop last year.
We had a couple of.
We'll have three.
Fans,
Yeah,
the fans that blow out the tip.
no, we bought that.
Yeah.
Where are they? I don't know.
But if anybody has their own or whatever.
They are little portable stuff. That,
Anything that provides that extra level of rider comfort that you can also take advantage of when
Right.
the riders aren't there, you'll be a hit. And we'll love you.
One thing on cooling.
Oh, go ahead.
So. Our bodies are weird, like we heat up from the inside out and we try to cool down from the outside in. Super effective, lots of studies on athletes going free cooling. If you can do a slushy or really cold water, that will drop your core temp way back and you'll get back. So go ahead and freeze a water bottle. If it's gonna be a hot day, you're gonna have a really icy one for later.
And when you get the brain freeze, hold your tongue to the top, to the roof of your mouth. It's supposed to warm the. It doesn't work, but do it. It'll make you feel better.
Your head doesn't work.
So, as a lot of you may or may not know, this is year 20 for Pan Ohio. So this is a really big year, and we're trying to make it super special and do lots of fun and different things. And some of which are kind of surprises, just little things that riders aren't expecting, right? And so my ACS background started in the Relay for Life space. And my absolute favorite thing about Relay for Life was the Luminaria ceremony. And I could never figure out why Relay for Life had so many of these awesome moments that we've not replicated in a lot of other events throughout ACS. And if you've ever been to a Relay for Life and seen a Luminaria ceremony, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it. Nothing as touching and emotional and really I don't know. There's just no way to describe how meaningful a Luminaria ceremony is. But we've in the past done a Garden of Hope, which is we sell pinwheels and people can write names on them and we display them at the finish line. But it never really had the same power and effect that I think Luminaria ceremony actually has. So as kind of a surprise for the 20th year, we're going to do a Luminaria ceremony at Worcester on Friday. And the way this is going to work is it is free. It is not we're not raising money. You can decorate as many bags as you want. You want to decorate 2, you want to decorate 22. I don't care. If you want to put the same person's name on a luminary bag 25 times, great. The goal is to, you know, that if you were at Worcester last year where the riders come in, that whole line, that whole walkway down from like where they enter, until down by bike storage, I want all of that lined with lit bags that are all in honor, memory, or support of people that are, you know, have been touched by cancer, but that are part of our extended Panel Hope Ride family. So super excited about it. The opportunity for these bags to be made are going to be here today, and then also at kickoff. And if we need them at some other point, we can maybe we'll have a table in the lobby of the colleges. Haven't gotten all that far yet, but so I have bags. We're gonna kind of just take a little, like take a break, go to the bathroom, grab another drink or a piece of pizza or chips, and make a few bags. And they can all be different. They don't have to look the same. They can. There's no rules for this. I just want it to be fun and meaningful for people. So I'm gonna pass out some markers and some bags. And if you guys we wanna chat or whatever, all the things.
And is anybody not familiar with what a luminary bag is?
Oh yeah, that would help.
That's a good one.
That's a great question. Go ahead.
You put the name of somebody in honor or in memory of. We weight each bag down with sand and then they use glow sticks usually or electric lights that they drop into the bottom of the bag, which is why we're gonna do it at Booster during that hill, because what we're gonna do is do it after dark, once everybody's eating dinner, so they can, and everybody's out on the patio and stuff, so they can see it lighting that way. And it's just a nod to all the people we've lost or the people we've loved who have overcome their own colors and